The main character enters the ballroom, and when the ladies look at her, they only smirk. The girl at this time thinks that maybe she should try something soft, and then she will start with strawberry cake. The girl starts eating it and realizes that it is so tasty and soft, after which everyone thinks about what she should try next. Well, then the lady hears someone else whispering how she could come to the Imperial Ball looking like that. Or she is about to perform, another lady tells her interlocutor to just look at her face because this girl is so ugly. The main character realizes that she sees familiar looks and whispers. At the same moment, another of the aristocrats says that the lady is a disgrace to all the nobles. The girl thinks that contemptuous cries filled with hatred are not coming from everywhere. But one way or another, she doesn't care. She's even proud of it. She's a great woman. She doesn't care. The lady thinks that today she has already done everything she wanted, so she can leave. Well, at that very moment, one of the ladies says, "What a shame this is. And how can this girl behave like that?" A little while later, the main character goes back in the carriage. She tells her cosmetic bag to open, and a comb immediately flies out. The girl understands that the main character's power is indeed a little scary. Today was really difficult because everyone just looked at her with disdain every now and then. A little while later, the girl returns to the mansion, and the maid immediately asks if the mistress is already there. The main character says that the girl scared her and wonders if she doesn't see that she is there. The lady thinks how annoying it is because anyone who sees her knows that she is of noble blood. The girl immediately passes by the maid and pushes her, and her interlocutor says that in any case, if the appearance is ugly, then the soul must be pure. Layla understands that she just needs to endure, after which the lady sits down on the sofa and understands that these rumors will certainly reach Brother Louis. Yet rumors spread so quickly, and her cousin Ludwig is the head of the baronial family. He is a very callous person, and they all despise her because of her appearance. After which the lady says, "Okay, after all, there is very little time left," after which she understands that she needs to go wash her face. Otherwise, she is completely saturated with negativity. The girl's real name is Cho Yun-sol. The lady was a makeup artist for the famous actress Jin Yu-ra. One day the actress cried out why the girl was so slow and could she move faster. Jin Yu-ra was a leading actress, so it was hard to get along with her. When working with popular people, it was hard to avoid caustic remarks and unfounded gossip. Someone said that he hates people who can only pretend to be good. One of the women asked if this wasn't a ploy to get attention. The girl was also bullied by the stars. And in the end, an accident happened. Her life was cut short because of Jin Yu-ra. The one who appeared before her while she was falling into eternal sleep was Shinigami. The man apologized to the people, saying that it seemed he had made a mistake by falling into eternal sleep. After which he touched her forehead and claimed that he would then make the girl the main character in another world. After that, the little girl opened her eyes and fell into a romance with a happy bird in a cage and became the main character named Layla El Este, where the main character was actually Cho Yun-sol. Listen, girls, there was a prince whose name was Theobald Bazium Ibranaya, Duke Henry Predio, and Marquise Alfonso Louvenier. In this novel, a girl is imprisoned in a cage by three main characters, stays with him forever. This is the so-called unhappy ending of the novel. The lady wonders if this ending of the story will make her feel uneasy, and she decides to change the course of history, and also to act like an idiot and dress ugly and look awkward. At receptions, people said the same thing. Only such an aristocrat was born. The girl even behaved repulsively so as not to attract unnecessary attention to herself. Layla understands that she will not have such a tragic end as the real Layla, and to prevent this, she uses her makeup skills because she has to do everything possible. To hide this beautiful face, the main character of the novel is imprisoned in a cage by three men, precisely because she was beautiful. Now the lady takes a hairdryer out of her cosmetic bag and understands that she needs to marry well, for her now. The law of compulsory marriage in the Bazium Empire must be respected by everyone, and this law applies to two people for a year. According to this law, three men caught and put the girl in a cage, and therefore the main character never saw life. The lady understands that this novel is rated 19+, so she even feels creepy about it. Well, then the girl realizes that she will not live the fate of the main character, and not after all. In her past life, she just earned money and suddenly fell into eternal sleep. Can't she live her life the way she wants, and it's all because of that guy? If it weren't for him, she would now be continuing her normal life, but in any case, she is grateful to him for giving her this cosmetic bag 9 years ago. When the lady hid under the blanket, she understood that she really was in a novel. The girl wondered why she was the main character of which novel, and why he moved her to this world. In the end, her life became even worse, and the lady only screamed that if it weren't for this guy, she wouldn't have fallen into eternal sleep. The girl was also interested in how one could make such a stupid mistake and what would happen to her future now. Layla said that it was very unfair, but her interlocutor claimed that she was crying very loudly. When the girl saw him, the guy claimed that he came there to fulfill one of her wishes. It must be from her world, and of course within reason. The main character asked if she had just one wish, but hearing this, the guy just turned around and said that since it was not necessary, he would go. The lady immediately screamed for him to wait because she had a desire. The girl asked to give her a cosmetic bag, after which the man asked if she had a small bag or something like that. After which the main character held it out and the man said that it would do, after which he put everything he needed in this bag and asked if the lady was happy. But it's too early for her to use it and he's very busy, so let her not call him anymore. Layla understands that this guy comes whenever he wants and she will soon grow up, so she just needs to wait a little longer. In the original story, the girl became surrounded by men after her coming-of-age ceremony. That's why it's so important to go through the coming-of-age ceremony without attracting attention, and the girl understands that everything will be fine. She has suffered insults and humiliation from others for too long, and therefore begs God to save her from the end of this story. A little while later, someone turns to the lady and says that it is Becky. The main characters tell her to go out, and the woman claims that the lady woke up early today. Well, he asks if she got enough sleep, to which the girl replies, of course. Layla understands that she has been putting on makeup very carefully since the morning to look unattractive. Her makeup skills have improved since her previous life, and no matter how good they were before, she can't help but notice her progress. The main character wonders why the maid came so early and let her speak quickly and leave. Her interlocutor replies that she is there to tell the lady that she is present at breakfast, so let her come down. But when the maid wants to go out, she turns to the mistress again and asks her to behave like a young lady from an aristocratic family. She also wonders if the lady knows how much trouble the Baron is having because of her. He is having a very hard time right now. The main character, looking at the maid, is surprised, after which she screams out, "Who else would be ashamed of this?" Layla understands that she is talking about the one who ate more than her at the banquet yesterday, after which the girl understands that she has a reason for this. And also thinks, what the hell is wrong with this kid? Let her just wait and see this idiot's house. As soon as everything is decided, she will definitely leave, and at this time the lady enters the room and greets her brother. The guy replies that he told her not to be late and asks if it really took her that long to get ready. The main character replies that yes, and thinks that he will again start talking nonsense. Her brother at this time is wondering what the girl was thinking when she put on this dress yesterday, but the main character is wondering what is wrong with the dress because it is ordinary and beautiful. And her interlocutor asks in what place it is beautiful, because this strange dress with feathers does not look like that at all. Layla replies that it is a rather strange wind, doesn't everyone have different tastes? After which the two exchange glances. And Ludwig says that no matter what the lady thinks, she will have to get dressed at the coming-of-age ceremony. Not as usual, otherwise she will remain alone for the rest of her life. People think that he would know why she dresses and looks like that. But she also wants to date and get married. The girl then gets up from the table and tells her brother that she will go first. Her interlocutor just smirks and says that it means she can still be offended and she just disgraces their family, and that's all. As the lady heads back to her room, she clenches her fists and wonders if she is bringing shame on the family. The girl also thinks that it's good, and after the coming-of-age ceremony, everything will fall into place. A little while later, the main character does her favorite ugly hairstyle and puts on another stupid dress. One of the maids asks what kind of dress it is, and the girl just smiles and wonders if she didn't try her best. Layla understands that this is true and she must look repulsive because that is what she wants. The real Layla was already caught by 3 men at the ceremony and also attacked Charlotte's jealousy, who has been mocking her in every way since that day. Now the girl understands that her future is simply terrible. Well, she's glad that at least she has diaries. She never thought that a diary in her makeup bag would help her. The whole story is written there, and she is very grateful to the person who gave her the cosmetic bag. The girl sets herself up for the fact that everything will be fine, and she has prepared well for the upcoming ceremony. A little while later, the lady gets out of the carriage and realizes that the momentary shame guarantees her a safe future, so she will cope in the moment she is not the main character. The girl prepared for this day for 9 years, after which she enters the hall and understands that today everything will change. The rest of the people look at her in shock and say that you can go crazy like this. The girl came to the coming-of-age ceremony like this again. One of them wonders how this is possible since there is no formality there, and didn't anyone tell her that she can't come dressed like that? Layla thinks what a great reaction they have and her plan worked, but at the same moment, someone is surprised and talks about the dress on Lady Charlotte. One of the aristocrats wonders if she was not put on display in Raphael's dressing rooms. Another aristocrat says that she heard it is not for sale, but this dress is really very beautiful. Layla notices Charlotte and understands that it means everything will start soon. At that moment, one of the servants asks for attention, and he says that His Majesty the Emperor and Her Majesty the Empress have arrived, and with them their young Prince Theobald, Duke Henry, and Marquis Alfonso. The main character realizes that the 3 main characters have gathered. At this time, the Emperor sits down in his place and tells them to begin. One of the servants announces that they are having a coming-of-age ceremony, and the first to go will be the children of Count Pinatelli. He asks Charlotte Pinatelli to come up, and at the same moment the Empress approaches the Emperor and greets them. The head of the empire congratulates the lady on her coming of age and hopes that she will contribute to the empire in the future. The lady thanks him and states that she will always strive to improve the Byzantium Empire. The prince at this time watches the lady and smiles and also says that he will call her by name. The main character understands that, to be honest, she is a little jealous, because if the story of the novel were not so sad, she would not have behaved so vulgarly. And perhaps I would have met my destiny, but now it's useless to think about it. At the same moment, someone asks Baroness Layla El Este to come over, and when the girl approaches the Emperor and Empress, then he greets them, but at the same moment, the man somewhat menacingly congratulates her on her coming of age. Layla thanks him and understands that almost everything is over and now her head won't fall off. But at that very moment, someone pushes her and the girl falls. The lady understands that someone definitely pushed her. But at the same moment, the other aristocrats ask what it is and how hard it is to be such an ugly person. One of them says that the lady looks like a duck. The main character at this time looks at all 3 main characters, but none of them pay attention to her. Layla understands that she has achieved her goal because none of the 3 are interested in her. She did everything right, so everything is fine, but the lady is almost crying, thinking that it is so strange. At the same moment, someone else addresses Layla El Este. It turns out to be Charlotte. The woman makes a sad face, and her interlocutor at the same moment asks if Charlotte is okay. The lady with red hair answers yes and thanks Monica. The woman says that she just saw something that shocked her to the depths of her soul. But she can't even look at this, and how can a person look so ugly? And also, is this girl really an aristocrat? At the same moment, someone says that this is where the lady was. It turns out to be one of the main characters. He turns to Charlotte and says that he was looking for her. The main character wonders if it is Duke Henry and Marquis Alfonso. The guy asks what such beautiful young ladies are doing there, and the main character understands that during the coming-of-age ceremony, she cannot run into them, after which she apologizes and runs away. The Marquis Alphonse at the same moment becomes interested. Is she really a lady? He didn't think that ladies could be so unattractive. Charlotte at this time only smiles, and the main character runs away with all her might and understands that she needs to go home quickly. Once the official ceremony was over, but at that very moment, the lady bumped into someone and fell. When she hears a man swearing, she understands that it is His Highness's entire voice. At this time, the guy says that it seems that her eyesight is bad, and the main character understands that this is Prince Theobald. The girl immediately bows and asks for forgiveness before the crown prince, and also understands that this is a complete failure. The lady tried so hard that no one would notice her, but now she will have to come face to face with the main character. The girl immediately bows and says that then she will go, after which she runs away. And the prince sighs and wonders if she really is that ugly, because he has heard many rumors about this woman. She really doesn't fit into the imperial family at all because the lady raises doubts about whether she is really from the nobility. At the same moment, someone else turns to His Majesty and asks what he is thinking about. It turns out it's Charlotte, and the guy understands that it doesn't matter now and also tells the girl not to take it to her head. But the guy understands that this is somehow strange because this woman had a pleasant aroma that did not suit her at all. A short time later, the lady's brother bursts into his sister's room in a rage. He screams what the hell the girl did yesterday. The main heroine only turns to him. And he understands that she cried a lot yesterday and didn't notice how she fell asleep. The guy immediately gets scared and says that there should be a limit to her antics. Her father is the former head of the family, so he would think to find out about her antics, so he can't just keep quiet. At this time, the girl thinks about her father and understands that without noticing it, she is happy that he has fallen into eternal sleep. One of them said that the lady's father had a terrible accident, and from that moment on, she would live with her cousin. After that day, the girl began to live for her own pleasure. But now she is thinking what to do next, and the guy says that after the girl gets married, he will take Becky Johns. But he doubts that he will be able to marry her off. From tomorrow, he will be sending out letters of marriage proposal to families who meet his requirements. Main heroine. She turns to her brother in surprise, and he says that if any family accepts her, he will immediately send the girl to them, and until then let her sit and not do anything. So let the lady just sit at home. The maid who is nearby at this time only smiles. And the main character understands that this is what he said and leaves Becky at the same moment, says that now she can be calm. After all, the lady did find out about her relationship with her brother, so now they will have a special relationship. I should have told her about it a long time ago. At this point, Layla realizes that she held up well and did a great job. The girl thinks that she will definitely reveal her true face to a worthy person. Her plan is a little off, but everything will be fine, because in a year she will be able to finish, and she needs to hold out until May, because then she won't have to hide her face. The lady turns to herself and says that she needs to be patient a little longer. It had been several months since she had been banned from leaving the house, and times were changing slowly and smoothly. Except for her brother Ludovic and Becky's bullying, nothing special had happened. This is what she wanted, but there was a feeling that something was missing, and the lady realized that she didn't know what. And also just getting angry because of the situation. The girl at the same moment screams how tired she is of everything, because for 10 months no one accepted the offer to marry her. But at that very moment, one of the maids comes to the lady and says that the Baron, calls. The main character replies that it is fine and understands that Becky no longer works there as a maid. She took another position in this mansion, and because of this, she was very angry with her. There were moments when she wanted to hit her a couple of times, and I had to hold back every time. At the same moment, the maid opens the door and tells the Baron that the lady has arrived. The guy immediately happily turns to his little sister, and the main character wonders why he is so cheerful. The man tells the girl not to stand there but to sit down quickly because finally her proposal was accepted. He asks if Layla knows the Duke of Montefeltro. He is the owner of the northern mansion, and imperial blood flows in this man's blood. The guy says that Layla is very lucky to see this as the perfect candidate for her. And the girl knows that the Duke of Montefeltro was kicked out of society because of his appearance. They will become the perfect ugly couple, and the main character thinks that the Baron said this about the Duke. Layla at the same moment thinks what to do because she did not hear the name of this Duke in the original story. Firstly, she did not encounter the 3 main characters of the novel, but at that moment Louis says that he will immediately order things to be collected, and tomorrow he will send the lady to him. The main character wonders if it's really that fast, and her brother wonders why he's dragging it out, and if he changes his mind, the girl will take responsibility. He is already tired of the book's release, so this is not discussed, and if she does not want to tarnish their honor, then let her immediately pack her things and prepare for the trip. Well, the next day the main character gets out of the carriage and understands that whoever he is, this is too much because she was sent to him. The lady, of course, understands everything, but to kick him out of her own house is too much because suddenly this man is old and angry. Well, a little while later, the main character is surprised and her interlocutor thanks the lady for coming to them. The guy claims that he is the head of the Montefeltro family, and the main character is shocked and wonders if it is really him that they call ugly. At this time, the Duke asks whether the lady has any problems, and the girl immediately replies that there is nothing like that. The lady realizes that for some reason this is not the man she expected to see. Because of his freckles and narrow eyes, he does not meet the Empire's beauty standards. However, he has perfect proportions and gorgeous hair. Judging by her assessments, he is very handsome. The lady understands that the problem is only in his character, because the first impression does not immediately tell what kind of person he really is. The Duke at this time says that he thought the lady would have a lot of things, and the carriage would be bigger because of this. The main character thinks that her brother Louis decided to make fun of her by giving her a shabby old carriage. No one ever took proper care of her, and at the same time the lady droops a little. The Duke says that it seems that the girl is very tired after the journey, so she can rest today and they will talk tomorrow. But the main character replies that no, it would be better if they talked right away because she is not tired. The lady also asks where it would be better to talk, after which the Duke tells her to follow him and tells Vincent to help the lady. The butler at the same moment says that he will take the lady's luggage to her room, and the main character thanks him. The girl understands that for now he is behaving very politely, but somehow distantly and coldly. Besides, he is a duke, so it is strange that he accepted the marriage proposal of a simple baron's daughter. There must be some reason. The lady thinks that now the feeling of anxiety does not leave her, and she wants to immediately make sure of everything, and also decide what to do next. A little while later, the man says that he thinks the lady is a very curious person, and she is very interested in why he accepted her proposal. He replies that there are 2 reasons for this, and the first is so that rumors and gossip stop bothering him. The second is the intervention of the imperial family, and the main character wonders if this is really the case. The man replies that after entering the eternal sleep of the first person, his brother's wife became a duchess and began to rule the duchy. The Duke of Montefelra, in whose veins flows the imperial blood in order not to lose his status, decided not to spoil his reputation. Therefore, this mansion needs a mistress who will look after him. The lady replies that she understands and wonders what kind of rumors are bothering him. The man replies that he is still not married, and people think that he is not interested in the weaker sex. The main character is a little surprised by this, and the guy says that it is very unpleasant. He also doesn't know if the lady knows, but he also has a nephew, and he is the son of his late brother. Initially, his nephew was supposed to start ruling the duchy, but he is still too young, so his nephew is the next successor. That's why his wife has no obligations in marriage, and that's why he chose a lady, because she is not particularly interested in it either. For him, love is not important. And if his wife does not cross the line, then he promises that he will transfer all his property to her. He has stated his conditions, and now he wants to hear hers. Layla then talks about her conditions, and a little while later the butler shows where the future duchess will live. The main character, looking around the room, understands that this is a completely different level, and she sees such a huge and beautiful room for the first time. It would be nice to live a year in such a house. Layla also recalls how she told the Duke that the conditions were such that after the official marriage, a year later, she had to stage her immersion into eternal sleep. Was shocked at this time, and the lady claimed that she was not going to truly fall into eternal sleep and wanted a person like her to disappear from the empire. The Duke asked if this meant that she wanted to change her personality. It was difficult, but if she moved to another country, this problem would be easy to solve, after which the guy asked if she agreed. The main character replied that she would only need a new personality to put pressure on her, and that's all. And also let him not worry too much about rumors, because, unlike him, rumors about her are everywhere. After this, the guy said that it seemed that the future duchess was not bothered by such rumors, and the main character asked what he was talking about. To which he replied that nothing, and said that it meant they had decided everything. Layla replied that yes, she had suggested then to set a date for the ceremony. The lady has been waiting for this moment for 10 years, and only 1 year remains. She is sure that the relationship with the Duke will be strained for a while, but she doesn't need love either. In 2 months, the wedding ceremony will take place, and all that remains is to wait, so she will spend this year without any problems. A little while later, the girl looks at herself in the mirror again and understands that today's makeup turned out just awesome, and she did a great job. The girl understands that this is the first day of life in her mansion, and recently the butler told her that the Duke offered to have lunch together. Well, when the lady goes out into the corridor, she notices someone else and wonders if it's really a child. At that moment, the girl greets him and realizes that this boy is so similar to the Duke of Montefeltro, which means he is his nephew Layla, thinks what a cute little angel he is. But at that very moment, the young man screams for the ugly woman not to look at him and runs away. The main character wonders if he really is an angel. A little while later, they are all sitting at the table. The main character understands that she has nothing to breathe. Unlike the atmosphere at Brother Ludwig's, it is so quiet there during the meal, but the girl wonders why the mood is so oppressive. At this time, the Duke turns to Michael and asks if he has greeted his future aunt. If he didn't do it, then now is the time, after which the boy just looks at her, and the Duke says that she needs to say hello and say her name. The boy at the same moment says that he said hello, and the main character also greets him. Ly understands that it seems he has decided not to communicate with the ugly woman anymore. This is not the first time that the children do not accept her as a person. But at that very moment, the guy's cutlery falls, and the girl wonders if his hand has slipped. At this time, the maid hands the guy a clean knife. The lady understands that he seems very vulnerable, but a child is a child. Well, at that very moment, the young man again accidentally drops the cutlery, and the maid again hands him a knife and fork. The main character, looking at the boy, thinks that something is wrong, and then she completely understands what seems to be the child. Now there is a lot of pressure, after which the girl turns to the butler, and she whispers that she wants to ask him for something. When the man listens to her request, he happily replies that he will prepare everything right now. He also turns to the maid and tells her to go to the kitchen right now, and the Duke watches all this in surprise. A little while later, the maid hands the lady a plate, and the main character immediately cuts the meat. She holds out the dish and asks if they could place this plate in front of the young gentleman. And besides, the knives and forks that the young gentleman use look very heavy, so let them replace them with lighter ones next time. The boy then eats the meat, and the main character realizes that he seems to like it. She knows this better than anyone else. After all, she herself went through these piercing glances, and the girl thinks how hard it must be for a child. The Duke looks at the lady for a moment and then turns around as he enters his office. He understands that the lady is really not what he expected to see her if it weren't for that smell. He still can't think about Layla El Este. A little while ago, the young man was looking at the girl, and when she noticed him, he only looked embarrassed, looked away. Well, the lady at that very moment looked at him with contempt, and the guy understood that she looked at him like trash. This look reminded him of the prince who publicly insulted his brother and him by saying how terrible they were. That day, the young man could not even raise his head from shame, but for some reason he could not forget her eyes and scent. When the man received a marriage proposal, he wondered if they were really calling her an ugly baroness. He also told the butler to accept the invitation to marry the niece of Baron Este. The guy understood that now he would see her with his own eyes, will feel this aroma again and again. Now the Duke wonders what he's thinking about, and her face and eyes have changed a lot since then. Everything feels completely different now. But no matter how he said he doesn't need any love, and it's all because of him. This damned imperial family and this prince behave as they please. The ancient wolf god who started the branch of the imperial family and has this red liquid flowing through him. The Basium Empire began when the wolf Lupus fell in love with a woman. Wolves fall in love only once in their lives. And Lupus, who was the wolf god, could also only love one partner. Basium Empire, which worshipped the god Lupus, was a place where romance and love were valued. However, due to arranged marriages, the concept of love began to gradually disappear from people's lives. In the empire, marriage and family remained a common thing, and in order to get true love, the Gear began to have lovers. It was the same with his parents and brother. The parents truly loved each other even after the birth of children, and Michael, when he grew up, fell into eternal sleep in a car accident, which means he did the right thing by entering into a marriage of convenience. The man who once hurt him badly ends up marrying him, and it's a political marriage of aristocrats. The guy is just tired of this unnecessary romance. A little while later, the Duke says that the conditions that were communicated earlier are written into the contract. He also says that the lady can check, and if she is not satisfied with something, he will edit it. The main character reads this agreement and understands that this is part of her new personality. A small country that favors artists, and the person who suddenly appears there is a young lady who was once a low-ranking noblewoman. But now this lady has become free and arrived in the city. The Duke at this time asks if there is anything that people would like to fix, but she answers that no, I like everything. The lady says that it is a great story, and thanks him. Her interlocutor at this time claims that he does not know why you regret so much that you want to change your personality, but it does not concern him because his conditions are marriage. The main character answers that yes, but thinks why the Duke is not against the conditions because if he really is one of the members of the imperial family, then he could go beyond her influence, although she does not understand this. After which the girl says that she has a question for him, and if it is so urgent, can they get married now? Layla asks why the contract says that they will only get married after May, and the guy replies that it's because he needs to go through the coming-of-age ceremony before the official wedding can begin. The main character in shock asks if he is talking about coming of age, and do they really want to say that he is a year younger than her? At this time the Duke asks if she has any problems, and the ladies answer that no, because she simply didn't think that he was a year younger than her, after which she apologizes completely, and the Duke sighs and claims that he never told her about it, so she didn't know, so she doesn't need to worry about it. Then he offers her to sign a contract, and the main character agrees. Looking at the tip, the lady understands that there is a magic stone attached to it. But this is the first time she sees such a big stone, and after all, the guy is a duke. When a lady signs a contract, she hands it to her interlocutor and he says that it is good. He also dips the document into some water, which surprises the main character. At this time, they claim that this is how his family handles documents that require confidentiality. He used a special pen with a crystal and special blacks. The main character is surprised at this time and says that it looks like magic. The Duke replies that his nephew wants to enter the academy at the beginning of the summer, and after entering he will return, so the lady does not have to worry too much because the mansion is at her disposal. He also hands the girl a copy of the contract, to which she thanks him and wishes him all the best. The young man also says that he will do his best to become a worthy husband this year, and also wishes her a good day. But at that very moment, the guy remembers how the lady said that it was like magic, and understands that only the imperial family knows about the existence of magic in the empire. The girl is the baron's daughter, but that's not all because he was ridiculed then, so he doesn't remember well. Well, her appearance and look have changed so much since then, but her scent has remained the same as before. The Duke thinks how he can accept this, and where this strange feeling comes from. A little while later, the main characters go to the garden and say that there are so many hydrangeas in the garden. The butler replies that the ancient god Lupus gave his beloved blue hydrangeas because they resembled the color of her eyes. These flowers grow only in the garden of the Duke of Montefeltro. The main character replies that she did not know about it. Well, at that very moment, the butler asks the lady to be quieter, because she has now become the mistress of the mansion, and the girl replies that she understands. The man asks if she wants to drink tea there, to which the lady replies yes, and says that she really wants to. A little while later, the girl sighs and realizes that she still feels awkward when people address her like that. Nevertheless, the main character feels that she will soon be free and hopes that everything will be as she wanted. At that very moment, the girl hears some rustling and frightened asks who is there. Layla understands that there are only bushes there and wonders if they really want to attack her or if there is a wild animal there. The girl also understands that she needs to find out before telling the Duke and she must check. But when the lady looks into the bushes, she is a little surprised. She sees a younger gentleman there. The young man is immediately surprised and wonders why the ugly woman is looking at him. The girl understands that all the words he said to her are that the ugly young man tells the girl not to look at him because he is scared. The main character asks the gentleman if this is not what he wanted to ask. The lady realizes that she will simply try to talk to him, and then she asks him to stop behaving like that. The guy gets a little scared after that, but then calms down and asks the lady to help remove this branch from him. The girl thinks that it's good that she needs to see how it got stuck there. Layla says that now she needs to carefully take it out, and when the lady does so, she wonders why the guy is doing this to his hair, because everything is tangled and it's a nightmare. Layla lifts the young man up and says that after that he keeps asking what he was doing there, but the guy replies that it doesn't concern her. The girl removes another leaf and asks if he has decided to study the vegetation. Well, at that very moment, the young man runs away and jumps up so that the lady doesn't touch him because it's disgusting. A little while later, the butler approaches the lady and asks if the young gentleman was there. The main character only turns to the butler in disappointment and wonders if the young master is always so angry. Vincent was a little surprised, after which he said that the gentleman was simply shy and let the lady understand him. The next day, the butler told her that the young gentleman simply had no experience in communicating with people because he spent a lot of time alone. The lady also looked around the mansion, and it seems to her that it is easy to get lost there. When the butler says that he will show another place tomorrow, the girl thinks whether he wants to say that this is not all. Layla wonders how she can live alone in such a big mansion, but on the other hand, it's understandable. The man at this time shows the kitchen, and at the same moment the cooks greets her. The man says that first they need to greet the future Duchess, and the couple at the same moment claims that he is responsible for the Duke's kitchen and that his name is Cooper Palencia. The main character replies that she is glad to meet him and thinks about the expression on his face. The guy doesn't even hide his disgust towards her and then says that he will cook dinner for her. Layla understands that nothing has changed and says that it is a great job, but when people go out into the corridor, she sees someone running around the corner. The lady at the same moment asks if this is really the gentleman and wonders what he is doing in the kitchen. The boy wonders if he can't just want to be in his own house, and the girl replies that she was going to have some tea, so she asks if he wants to join in because they're going to get a delicious cake. She heard that the fruits there are very tasty and wonders if it is true, to which the boy replies that they are not comparable to the capital's fruits. The fruits that survived the harsh northern weather taste very sweet, and then the main characters offer to eat a pie, and he will tell her more about the north. Well, the boy asks if she is too curious, and although she is not attractive, her hair is very beautiful, so she has to learn something and he will teach her. Layla understands that this boy is really sweet and innocent. A little while later, they are at the table. The young man says that since the girl is ugly, why does she wear such clothes? If she wore normal clothes, everything would be better. The main character replies that she likes such clothes, but her interlocutor says that if ugly people get married, then even more ugly children will be born. Layla thinks what a restless child he is, but it's still a little strange because the guy keeps talking about ugly people. The girl also wonders whether she should say that this is not really true, after which she asks who told him that, because it's stupid to say that you won't marry an ugly person. The boy asks why, and the girl answers that it is wrong to believe. For example, in her eyes, the Duke does not seem ugly. The young man answers that it is because he is a little more handsome than her, but the girl answers that no, she is interested in whether the boy saw his eyes. Michael replies that his mother said that his father and uncle are ugly people, and she also said that he is also ugly because he looks like his father. The main character at that moment screams out what he said and understands that this boy is like an angel, so where can he be scary? The girl also wonders how a mother could say such a thing to a child, and that means after her husband fell into eternal sleep, she left the mansion, leaving the child behind. Many years have passed since she came to this world, but she still can't adapt to it. Lady also feels that now she will be disgraced, after which she understands that now it is better to eat silently. But when the main character hears the boy's stomach growling, she wonders if he is very hungry. The young man replies that no, and he simply didn't have lunch. Layla wonders if he really didn't have lunch, because if so, he needs to eat properly. The girl also offers to take care of him at least for now, which makes the young man embarrassed. And then he gets up from his seat and says that in any case he is against it. After all, she will never marry his uncle because he is against it. Then the young man runs away and the main character realizes that his uncle is not particularly eager to start a family either. But at the same moment, the maid turns to the mistress and asks if she has eaten everything. The woman also wonders if she wants to start taking care of her body with such a face. Layla wonders if there was someone else there, and the maid says that from now on, the lady should not offer sweets to the young master. The main character asks why, and her interlocutor replies that the young master has rules, which can't be broken, and she helped break this rule. A little while later, the main character dries her hair. The girl thinks about what rules the maid talked about, and she remembered how she asked about it. But the woman wondered if the lady still didn't understand that snacks and desserts were prohibited according to the young gentleman's diet. This was the order of the master himself because he must take good care of his body and skin. The main character in shock asks what they are hoping for by forbidding the child everything and what kind of terrible rule this is. But the maid replied that it was because the young master was not so handsome. He should take good care of his appearance, and then in the future he will find a suitable partner for himself. The woman also sighed and said that it was a pity that the lady had not taken care of herself from the very beginning because ugly people can only be with ugly people. Layla asked if she was serious, and the maid turned around and asked what the lady wanted. But the main character just screamed out what the girl had just told her. The girl thinks that it's a pity that Vincent appeared and stopped her because she doesn't know what she would have done then. The lady understands that it is common to be ignored because it has happened countless times. But Michael is different. He's a child. And you can't tell him anything about his appearance now. The girl understands that they are starving him so that the guy will be slim and go, "This is such a nightmare," during growing up. The lady tries to calm down, but she can't, and she will definitely talk to the Duke about this. A little while later, someone says that the Duke has come and greets him. The guy at this time turns to Vincent and asks if there was any news while he was absent there. But at the same moment, the guy also sees his nephew and turns to him. The Duke asks how he is doing and whether the guy was waiting for him, and also whether there is anything to tell him. The boy asks his uncle if he really wants to marry this ugly woman. The man replies that she is not ugly and suggests that the boy not call her that, but he says that the girl is ugly and also has too many freckles. Also, she has ugly eyebrows and the lady looks so ugly, and he is also annoyed by the color of her eyes. After all, he wanted to take a close look at the color of her eyes, but in any case, she is ugly. At this time, the Duke says that then they too will be ugly, but the young man replies that this is not so because they are not as ugly as she is. His uncle at this time wonders if this is all that the boy wanted to tell him because he doesn't think that the boy would go so far just because of this. At this time, the young man says that he still has something to tell him and wonders why ugly people can come into his personal room. He just gave this ugly woman personal advice during lunch. A little while later, the boy was wondering whether to be angry with her as a girl. But at that very moment, he heard someone screaming that this was not a passageway, but the young master's private room. When he turned around, he saw Layla, who was being yelled at by a maid that this was the young master's personal room. The girl was only interested in whether the Duke had rules that allowed yelling at the master. Now the young man says that this is his room, and his rules should be there and not anyone else's, to which the Duke replies that it's good and he understood him. He also says that they will take care of it so that the boy can go. The butler also wishes the young master a good rest. When the boy leaves, the Duke asks the butler what happened, to which the man replies that as he had already heard, there was some misunderstanding between the Duchess and the maid. Not only the maid, but all the workers ignore the Duchess, and the man asks how he would like her future wife to be addressed at home. After this, the guy says that it's good and he understood, so first he'll listen to what happened. The main character at this time writes an improved version of the young master's diet, and it allows one dessert for lunch due to the correct nutrition for a growing body. The girl also thinks that it was necessary to include this in the contract, but now she can no longer change anything, and the lady thinks why this is so. But then she realizes that everything will be fine because she is even uncomfortable seeing herself with such a face. In fact, it looks like this, but at the same moment people hear someone knocking and wonder who is there. The man answers the lady that it is him and asks if they can talk, but at that moment the girl turns to the mirror, and she answers that yes, but asks him to wait a minute. The girl thinks that this is a nightmare because she hasn't put on makeup. The lady screams again, asking him to wait a minute, and a little while later she runs out to him and asks how long he waited. The lady apologizes and says she was just changing. The Duke replies that he is sorry for coming to her late at night, but it is urgent. After which he asks if he can come in, to which the ladies answer that yes, and since it's urgent, they can talk. The lady understands that the Duke came to her first and wonders what is going on. A short time later, the two sit in silence before they all turn to each other at the same time. Layla decides to break the awkward silence and throws in to let her speak because she accidentally heard that the young gentleman is on a diet. He is still too young to abstain from sweets, and moreover he is a growing organism, so won't one meal a day cause problems? After all, the boy is still so young, after which the Duke replies that it is understandable, but asks if Michael likes sweets. Layla replies that he did eat, to which the Duke replies that it is understandable since the boy never told him about it, so he didn't know. The main character understands that even though he and my family know nothing about each other, and now she claims that he ate them with appetite and looked so happy, but the maids told him that he was ugly, and if he continued to eat sweets, he would become even uglier. Layla wonders what the point of this is because the main thing is that the person is happy. The girl also wonders why he doesn't change the young master's maid, since she has such a disdainful look. The Duke at this time says that much has changed since the lady was a child, and the main character is a little surprised, and her interlocutor says that she has really changed a lot. He also wonders why the lady feels so sorry for him, and whether it is because she considers him to be the same as herself. He also asks if she is talking about the disdainful look, because he will still have to face it when he goes out into the world. The guy immediately gets up from his seat and says that okay, the lady can continue to rest, but the girl tells him to wait and understands that she didn't even think about it. After all, this character was not in the original story and Lucas was not supposed to know Layla. He has such a cold and piercing look, so the girl thinks what happened between these two. Michael comes to the table a little while later and the maid tells the master that dinner is ready. The boy looks at this food and then sits down at the table and takes one of the tomatoes into his mouth. He understands that he has such a disgusting taste, but when the young man wants to touch his face, then the maid immediately jerks his hand away and screams that it's impossible because the effect of the massage is still present. But she told him not to touch his face. The young man immediately says that he has been itching since yesterday, but the woman replies that this is proof that the massage works, and the guy says that this is true. The guy understands that this is terrible because if you think about it, he hasn't seen her since that day, but they don't even eat together. The main character is sitting with cookies and thinking how good she feels. The Duke told her to rest and that she shouldn't study and manage the mansion. She worked hard in her room and first hung the curtains. She asked Vincent to bring a beautiful curtain. After all, if a guest suddenly arrives, it will be convenient to talk behind the curtain. And the lady looks at her cosmetic bag and diary. She remembers writing her first review after forgiving the novel. In the diary, after diving into the Duke's eternal bags, she persistently searched for his name, but no matter how much she searched, there was no record of Lucas. It is obvious that the Duke had already seen Layla before, but the girl wonders why he then accepted her proposal of marriage. The lady also thinks about what kind of person Layla was as a child, but then she realizes that she doesn't know and doesn't remember anything. At that moment, someone appears behind the lady and asks what she is talking about. When the main character turns to the boy, he asks in shock who she is, and the lady just screams. A little while later, the boy says that the girl was ugly and looked very unattractive. Layla replies that she is the one and asks him not to yell like that. Well, the young man says that this can't be and asks if she really looks like that, to which the lady replies that yes, and she wonders if he will continue to call her ugly because she thinks that now she is not so ugly. At this time, the young man understands that he cannot, and then they ask if this is magic or some kind of trick. If this is so, then how can a person change in just one night? And he is sure that this is some kind of magic of beauty. The lady replies that it is not magic, but at the same moment the young man closes his mouth and the main character asks what happened. The girl also asks if he really thinks that she is a witch, and the guy asks how she found out. The young man cries out that his uncle told him that it was a secret, but do the nobles really not know about it? Layla wonders what he is talking about because she does not understand him. After which the young man whispers that she should promise not to tell anyone, and the girl replies that yes, if she tells anyone about this, then let God himself punish her. The girl also thinks what a big mistake she has already made. At that very moment, the young man approaches her, and he claims that he is talking about magicians, then let the lady not let anyone know that they exist. The girl is interested in whether there are magicians and sorcerers in the Empire and where he got such information. The young man immediately says that she is stupid and that magic and sorcerers are very different from each other. Mages are also alchemists and use magic stones and medicines. They do not work with mana. But sorcerers deal with mana, and their existence is kept a closely guarded secret. The girl understands that she didn't know that such people existed, and she clearly remembers the passage when the prince used his magic, but she didn't even think about it. At this time, the young man asks if she is also a witch and that it is simply impossible to change one's face in one night. After which he asks if she is a magician, and the lady replies that no, but she can make herself beautiful. The girl understands that it is all because of the beautiful makeup. The young man at this time says that whatever it is, let her show him, because he also wants to be as beautiful as she is now. After which he completely begs her, and the main character understands that he sees that he is so beautiful that he is even more beautiful. The girl understands that although the young gentleman has developed a complex because of his appearance, the lady remembers the boy saying that he hated himself because he was born with such a face. He also said that his mother said that he was ugly. Layla understands that eventually people stopped appreciating a person only because of his appearance, and such a child already hates ugly people. The lady understands that it is so sad, after which she tells the boy that it is good, and she will help him. But the girl also claims that there is one condition. The young man is interested in what the girl answers, so that he does not think that he is ugly. What she will do now will emphasize his beauty even more, and let him not judge others by their appearance, because everyone is beautiful in their own way. The young man then replies that he will think about it, and the main character says that okay, then let him wait a little. The lady takes out all the materials from her cosmetic bag and says that, first of all, it is necessary to prepare the skin for makeup and also to saturate it with oils and vitamins. The guy asks what she is muttering about, but the main character immediately pulls his face towards her and sniffs him. While the young man asks in surprise what she is doing, the girl realizes that her skin smells strange and is peeling a lot. This must be why the skin smelled bad, after which the main character wonders what the young gentleman is putting on his skin. The young man asks why she is interested in this, but the main character tells him to be honest, and then she will help him. The guy replies that he is not sure, but the maids rub something into his face before he goes to bed, and after that his skin itches terribly. They say that it is the effect of the massage, and it also smells like cucumbers. The girl understands that it is definitely a massage for her and then asks if he ate them. The young man asks what kind of nonsense this is because it tastes spicy, so how can he eat it? The main character is shocked and realizes what is wrong, after which she says that from now on she forbids him to use these cucumbers. Michael replies that he himself doesn't really like them. The girl replies that cucumbers are only eaten fresh. A little while later, the lady is already finishing her makeup and says that she will finally apply some cream, after which the lady finishes her preparations and asks the gentleman if he wants to look at himself. When the boy picks up a mirror, he asks if it is really him. The young man sees a mask on his face and screams, "What is this?" He looks like a clown and the lady deceived him. The girl asks the gentleman to calm down and tells him to listen to her because, as she already said, this is not magic and he should do this so that his skin can heal faster. The guy asks how often he should do this, and the lady replies that he shouldn't worry because once everything goes well, they will stop using masks, and now let him take a deep breath and rest. A little while later, the guy is already lying in bed, and the main character tells him to take off his socks because she will give him a foot massage and he will sleep. At this time, the young man remembers how the lady said that there was one condition and that he should not consider himself ugly. Then he closes his eyes and calms down. Layla wonders if he has already fallen asleep, but they also say that there is no such thing as a sleeping angel. The lady wonders if it seems to her or if he is very thin for his age. Her heart is very attached to this boy, and the girl wonders if it is because they are similar. He imagined losing his parents at such a young age and moving from one relative to another, because they all always change their plans, after which people just wish him good night. And she also says that she will take off the mask while he sleeps, and in order to become beautiful, he needs to have a good rest. The lady also says that when he wakes up, his skin will be much better than before. But she hasn't worked like this for a long time, and a lot has happened today, so she needs to lie down for a bit. Well, when the lady lies down on the bed, she understands that it seems that now another person has become the owner of this bed. When the lady turns to him, she smiles and also thinks whether he is okay now. A little while later, the Duke returns to the estate, and the butler asks if the gentleman has arrived. The man asks if something just happened, and his interlocutor replies that it seems the young gentleman decided to sleep in the Duchess's room today. The guy asks if this is true, and his interlocutor replies that he was visiting the Duchess and spent the whole day with her. He didn't see anyone leave the room or hear any sounds, so they must have fallen asleep together. The Duke asks if this means that Michael is in the Duchess's room, to which the butler replies that it is correct. The man then thinks for a moment and says that this is how it is. He also adds that you can't wake up sleeping people and turns to the Duke, and also tells him to immediately report when the Duchess wakes up, to which he agrees. The guy claims that he needs to know what they were doing. A little while later, the main character thinks how hard it is for her, and when she gets out of bed, she thinks about how long she slept. Layla looks out the window and, in shock, realizes that it's already morning, after which everyone asks her how long she slept, that the sun has already risen. A little while later, the young man also wakes up and wonders why it is so noisy, and the main character wonders if he woke up. And she also apologizes and asks if she woke him up, but the young man is simply shocked and wonders if her face has changed again. The girl replies that yes, and asks if he is not happy to see her again, to which the guy replies that he is not happy at all. He also asks how the lady became like this again and how it happened, but the girl replies that it is a secret. She also says that the guy needs to wash his face with this vitamin in warm water and let him not rub too hard and also use more water. After which the girl understands that now is the next step and everything needs to be put back in place. When the main character leaves the room and turns to the butler, he wishes the Duchess good morning. Layla says that she was going to call him, but he was already there. The girl says that this morning she will have breakfast in herself, so let him bring everything there, and the young gentleman is there too. So let him bring food for both. Also let him bring more meat and boiled eggs, and also not give any cucumbers, to which he agrees. At this time the man asks if the young gentleman really slept with the Duchess, and the girl replies that he was very tired and so unexpectedly fell asleep there. Vincent says that it's good and then he'll cook some food. The main character realizes that he looks strange and that something really happened. The girl also wonders if she has screwed up somewhere, but a little while later the main character is completely shocked. After all, the Duke is asking if he can have breakfast with the lady. Layla realizes that she certainly didn't expect this. A little while later, they are all having dinner together, and the girl thinks that this is such an awkward situation. But the Duke dressed very beautifully, and the images can be created in different styles. The Duke knows how to choose the right clothes and complement his look with accessories. At this time, the man turns to Michael and says that he was told that the guy slept with his aunt yesterday, to which he replies that yes. The Duke also says that the boy will soon have to study and live away from home, so isn't it time to get used to sleeping alone? The young man doesn't even know what to answer after this, but at that very moment the main character shakes him so that he waits. She also says that she herself asked the young gentleman to stay with her. Hey, to be honest, she hasn't been sleeping well lately and isn't used to the new bed. So she asked the young gentleman to stay with her, and the girl turns to the boy and asks if this is true, to which he replies, yes. The Duke then says that fine, and before entering the academy, let them do whatever they want. The young man immediately thanks his uncle. At this time, the Duke turns to the Duchess and asks if she would like to have a cup of tea with him. The main character wonders if he really wants to scold her, and then she won't just listen to it silently. Because Michael is the first friend with whom she shared her secret, and the girl replies that yes, they can also have tea. A little while later, they are already sitting at the sofa, and the girl realizes that she is so nervous because they are alone there. Perhaps it is because their last conversation was not pleasant. Now Lucas turns to the lady and says that a seamstress will come to her soon. Layla asks why she is coming to her, and the man replies that she needs to pick out a suitable dress for the coming-of-age ceremony, and also, according to the butler, the seamstress will arrive today. The girl understands what the matter is and then thanks him for his concern. The lady also understands that when the ceremony is over, she will finally achieve her goal. And the man at this time adds that the other day he was too talkative with her. The lady will become a duchess, so let her not be ashamed of her title, after which the main characters not only smile. The guy understands that she has such a sincere and pure smile again, and this pleasant aroma, after which Lucas says that that's all, and if the lady has nothing to say, then she can go. Layla replies that it's okay, and then let him call her if he has something to tell her. At this time, the guy understands that this can drive him crazy, and when someone knocks on his office door, he tells that person to come in. The servant immediately turns to the Duke and says that he arrived earlier than he should have. After this, Lucas offers him to tell, and the guy says that he will inform him now, after which he shows the people who took care of Mr. Michael. These people were the Duchess and Maria, who was his nanny. But for some unknown reason, the woman quickly retired, and 2 maids remained who helped the master in everything. From that moment on, the Duchess began to monitor the guy's skin and diet. Among all the rumors, these maids acted completely according to the Duchess's instructions, and they were like rats with the hands and eyes of the Duchess. The Duke at this time talks about skincare and diet, after which he claims that this is not surprising, and therefore this is what she was doing without his knowledge. His interlocutor at this time says that this is why they hate the future Duchess so much, and asks whether he should fire these servants. Lucas says that he understands, and now it doesn't matter because he is sure that the guy's new maid will be the same, and he will leave everything to his wife. A little while later, someone asks the Duchess for forgiveness. The butler says that the seamstress has arrived and the main character tells her to come in. The girl understands that even in the Baron's house, she was able to choose an image for herself. So she's not too worried about ruining her dress. At that moment, the woman greets the Duchess and says that her name is Doreen Fisha, and she has the largest dressing room in the north. The woman also says that the lady should not worry, because if the dress does not suit her, the beauty of her dresses can cover up any ugliness. Layla thinks that this is good, and no one dares to underestimate her. The woman at this time says that it is good and offers to take measurements. She suggests adding tight cassettes and Carolinas, which will make her body even more beautiful, after which she invites the lady to undress and come there, but the main game does not answer that if she does not answer, she will not do anything. When the seamstress looks at her in surprise, the main character once again answers that she won't. She will tell the lady her measurements and wants the dress to be sewn according to her taste preferences. In her thoughts, the girl apologizes to the seamstress, but understands that she has no other choice. If she takes off her clothes, some of the makeup will be very visible, and the tailors never touched her body. A little while ago, a girl was being measured for her clothes, and she thought how stupid she looked. That's why now people understand that it will be the same, but the woman says that it won't work. Knowing the exact measurements of the lady, she will be able to choose a dress for her, and it will be better to take measurements herself and also be confident. Corsets are necessary for figure correction, and moreover, a wife should match her husband and look elegant. She also asks the Duchess if she is not right. The main character at this time remembers how her past maid asked her to behave like a young lady from an aristocratic family, because the Baron is very worried. The lady understands that these people are saying the same thing, and they are really annoying her because she can't listen to it anymore. But now she has a goal aimed at the future, so the girl thinks why she should put up with such humiliation towards herself. The lady says that firstly she is no longer a baroness, but a future duchess, so she should show a little politeness when addressing her. Secondly, since when did the corset become fashionable and she decides what to wear, and in 3, if a woman cannot fulfill her request, then she can safely refuse to work. The main character then asks what her answer is, and when they see the woman's shaking hands, she wonders if she really said something wrong. The seamstress at this time thinks that this ugly girl has shamelessly taken the place of the Duchess, but she cannot refuse the contract with the Duke of Montefeltro because the sales supplies are directly connected with this family. At this time, the main character tells her to answer. Their woman agrees, to which the girl replies that it is nice to hear, and then she will look at the dress catalog. When a girl opens a book with designs, she understands that they are not so bad, but it is still up to her to decide how to ruin these dresses. After which the girl asks to be given a pen and one of the servants holds it out. The girl says that the color of the dress should be bright red and feathers should be glued on them. Maybe a little silk should be added to the shoulder, but then the girl says that it is unnecessary. Layla understands that a disdainful look is what she encounters when she goes out in public. And if she thinks about the banquet, she will not be alone. And besides, this is the coming-of-age ceremony of her future husband, and it will be very unpleasant for him. After which the main character says to make the dress cream-colored with precious stones and add emeralds, diamonds, and also blue sapphires. Let them lengthen for a long time in the movie without a long train, and the lace should be not simple but colorful. The main character asks if she is listening to, which the woman replies that yes, after which the lady hands her a book with designs and understands that this is a project that was never completed but only remained as a sketch. The woman understands that it all ends in an instant when it falls into the hands of one person, and judging by the girl's face, this dress does not suit her at all, but she does not understand why the lady chose it. At this time, Layla asks if she heard everything, after which he tells her to take measurements and then be free. A little while later, the girl sighs heavily and realizes that it did happen. Layla wonders if she has started to worry about someone else besides herself and her future. A little while later, someone knocks on the lady's door, and when the girl opens it, she sees flowers. The main character wonders if this is Mr. Michael. The boy replies that he picked flowers on the way there. The main character asks if he wants to say that this flower basket is for her, and the guy replies that they will soon wither anyway, so it would be better to give it away than to throw it away. Layla asks if this is true, and the young man cries out that it is true because he just feels sorry for the flowers, and does the lady really think that he is giving her something like this because she is beautiful? The guy also asks why he should lie to her at all, and the main character says that it's good, and also asks if he's lying to her. The girl takes the flowers and thanks him because they are very beautiful. The boy then says that it is good, or starts saying something about her dress. Layla asks what he is talking about, and the young man says that this dress does not suit her at all. At this time, the main character only thanks the young master once again. After a little time has passed, someone knocks on the lady's door and says that it is him. It turns out to be the Duke, and the man says that the preparations are over, but when he looks at the dress, then he understands that it is beautiful. The main character at this time asks if Mr. Ujatam is really the one, but he came to her so quickly. The Duke says that it looks like the lady has already finished everything, and the main character replies that, after which she asks if he has finished everything too. The man replies that yes, he wants to leave early, and His Majesty asked him to come in for a while and also sent him a letter in the morning. Layla, looking at the guy, understands that this suit perfectly matches her dress, and under the suit he put on a black shirt as well as a tie and vest, which creates a feeling of calm. Even the emerald earrings and brooch create the effect of the garment shining, and the lady understands that, as expected, his sense of style is at the highest level. The girl then asks the Duke for forgiveness and asks if she can touch the Duke's face for a moment. The man replies that he doesn't even know how to answer this, and the lady says that he misunderstood everything. This is not something the Duke could think of because she just wants to try something, after which the man agrees. Layla hands him a chair and says that the guy can sit there and then he will understand why she said that. The man agrees but says that they don't have much time, and the main character replies that yes, after which she asks if he could close his eyes for a minute. After all, she really will finish everything quickly. When a guy does this, the lady understands that she is sure that he is now completely perplexed. As a professional, she can't disappoint him, and the girl thinks whether she should do it. The girl took out sunscreen, primer, concealer, and foundation. The lady understands that first she needs to cleanse her skin and then apply a foundation, then apply the container on top of the freckles, and finally fix the makeup. When people look at the guy, they understand that the skin tone has evened out. The Duke at this time says that he does not know what it is, but also wonders if he can open his eyes, but the girl tells him to wait a minute. Layla thinks that it's a pity that she hasn't finished her makeup yet, and then she does the finishing touches and also says that now he can open his eyes. When the man opens his eyes, he asks what it is, and the main character asks how he feels about it, and also whether you like it. The guy looks at his reflection and is a little surprised. The main character realizes that he doesn't know what makeup is. The lady is sure that he didn't know that you can hide the weights, and after that she says that if he doesn't like it, she will return everything as it was. The girl also says that since he has a coming-of-age ceremony, she wanted to give him a gift, and wonders if looking attractive wouldn't make him happier. The man then answers yes, and then he continues to wonder why she didn't use these skills on herself. He also asks if it is not strange that if a lady makes others beautiful, she cannot also make herself beautiful. She starts to get nervous and thinks what she should do because she has to say something as an excuse. At this time, the man asks if they are not in the same boat now, and the girl understands that she does not know what to answer. At that very moment, someone turns to the Duke and says that it's time for them to go because if they don't go out now, they might be late. The man then gets up from his seat and says that it's good, but we need to hurry. When he turns to the lady, he thanks her for the gift on his coming of age. Layla wonders if he is happy, after which she extends her hand to him in response and thinks that thank God, because her makeup skills helped him. Although her coming-of-age ceremony was humiliating, she hopes that she will leave him with only positive memories. A little while later, the guy heads off in a carriage and then turns his attention to the area. And he claims that it looks like they have arrived in the capital and will soon arrive at the Imperial Palace. The main character thinks about the palace and realizes that the 20th anniversary ceremony is beginning just like in the original story. After this day, the first days of Layla's hell began, but now she will be able to escape from the clutches of Henry. A little while later, the main character sits with a cup of tea and thinks how she could have made such a mistake. Although she was lucky that she managed to get away with it, otherwise there would have been problems. The girl doesn't even know how to say that. In fact, it's not her, and she is the main character of this novel. So in order to avoid being locked up by 3 men, she decided to make herself look ugly. Layla understands that if she had just blabbed, he would have taken her for crazy. But the lady understands that it really was a stupid mistake, because every time something like this happens, she starts to behave very stupidly. Well, at that very moment, someone else bursts into the room and screams at the daughter of Count Pinatelli, and also claims that right now she will become the Duchess of Montefeltro. The main character asks what it is, and the woman at the same moment says that the ugly Baroness and the ugly Duke live happily ever after on the server, so it's a very interesting story. This lady turns out to be Charlotte, and the woman says that it seems like there was someone there besides her. At the same moment, one of the servants tells the lady that, as he had already told her, the Duke of Montefeltro uses this living room, so he asks her to go into another living room, but the woman replies that it is the largest. So, of course, this drawing room must be hers, and she wonders if the servant wants to tell her that she must find another drawing room, and this one will be occupied by the ugly Duchess. The main character at this time says that she thinks the lady misunderstood something, and the Duke of Montefeltro is not an ugly man. Layla thinks about Charlotte Pinatelli and realizes that she has dealt with her before. After all, she looks very much like Jin Yu-ra. The woman at this time wonders if the Baroness is really ugly. She decided to protect her future husband, and did they really fall in love with each other? The main character replies that she doesn't think that the person who went there without permission can talk to her like that, and asks what right she has to behave like that. Charlotte at this time asks if she is talking about the law, and that way you can go crazy, because the lady, having married the ugly Duke, felt power over others. But what about the fact that the true strength of the Bazium Empire lies in beauty? The woman also wonders if she has nothing to say now. But it seems she went too far in touching her appearance. The woman also remembers Theobald. And also the way he talked to another girl. Charlotte wondered why he was even looking at this Monica. But no matter how you look at it, she's prettier than that girl with green hair. Charlotte realizes that everything is really annoying her right now. This lady is the perfect target to vent her anger on because she is much uglier than her. But this girl also dares to talk to her like that, after which the woman even passes by the girl pushing her, and sitting down on the sofa, he wonders what she is doing there. The woman says, "Okay, and let the lady forget, because she can pack her things." At the same moment, the butler turns to Mrs. Natalia in confusion and tells her to bring her new dishes and throw these out because suddenly they are contagious. She also talks about the ugly Duchess and the Duke because they really deserve each other. The woman also offers to introduce the girl to her ugly future husband. The same as she is interested in why Theobald gave the go-ahead to invite them here. The main character at this time asks how a woman can speak like that, but at the same moment someone addresses the lady, and he apologizes for the wait because His Majesty likes to keep you waiting with his stories. The woman thinks that this is the Duke of Montefeltro, and is this really the same ugly Duke? After which she looks at the guy's face, and he says that however he asks if this girl sitting next to the lady is really her friend. He also turns to Lady Pinatelli and asks if she has managed to become the princess of this country. The woman replies that no, after which the guy asks if she then became the wife of Duke Predio. The main character looking at the guy understands that now he looks very cold and strict, so it gives me goosebumps. The Duke at this time says that if it is not so, he will not understand her. Why is the girl sitting in his living room without his permission? Charlotte is only angry about this. At this time, the man turns to the lady and says that while their uninvited guest has not left, he suggests taking a walk in the garden. So he turns to Charlotte and says that while they are gone, the lady would be kind enough to leave this place. After all, it doesn't belong to her by status. After which the two leave and the woman is shocked, thinking that the crown prince hasn't proposed to her yet. But she doesn't understand why this ugly woman looks happier than her. Charlotte thinks that she won't give up and will take revenge on them. At this time, someone turns to Theobald and says that Lady Pinatelli requests an audience. The guy asks if Charlotte has come to him, to which the service replies that yes and that she is waiting for him. The guy smiles after this and says that unfortunately she cheated on him with Alphonse and Heinrich, and as soon as one of them finds a new passion, she runs to him. The man also asks what she wants and why she came there, and the servant replies that the Duke and his wife, Leila El Este, have settled into the first living room. The man asks if that ugly young lady is in the first living room, and that means the rumor that Lucas proposed to her was true. Since this is Lucas's coming-of-age ceremony, it will be very funny. The ugliest couple appeared in high society. After which the host says that there has never been such a show for a long time, and it is time for their banquet to begin. The aristocrats are whispering at this time, and one of them asks if the Duke of Montefeltro will be coming today. All the nobility of the empire is attending the coming-of-age ceremony, and he has heard that this duke is ugly in appearance. One of the ladies asks if the other has heard the gossip because there are rumors that that terrible baroness married him. Someone asks if she married the Duke of Montefeltro and will soon become a duchess. At this time, the main character comes in with a guy, and the lady looks at him and asks if he is really the ugly duke. One of them says that he is much more beautiful than this baroness, and when the guy turns around, one of the ladies says that he looked at her. At this time, the Duke turns to the lady and says that makeup really does work wonders. He also asks how the lady is feeling since it seems her skills helped, after which he keeps asking him why the lady is silent when she looks at the girl. He sees that she is just standing there emotionlessly and understands that she has become a stone statue. The man understands that in a year the lady will become a different person, but she is very kind to Michael, and so rudely shows his character to others. The girl put makeup on him out of concern and also decided to support him in this way. After which he asks where the timid lady is. At that moment, someone approaches the two and says that he is glad to meet the Duke of Montefeltro. One of them introduces himself and says that he is Alfonso Louvenier, and the other claims that he is Duke Henry. Charlotte introduces herself, and the man thinks how politely they greeted him. After which the guy only replies that yes, and he is glad to meet them, and also it was so long ago. Then they turn around and leave. While Charlotte is glaring at him, the guy realizes that he doesn't want to accept congratulations from this annoying lady. The woman understands that despite everything she restrained herself and even smiled at him, but he simply ignored her. Alphonse asks why this guy is such a bore, and he ignored their greeting and didn't even introduce himself properly. Charlotte thinks that this really irritates her, and the main character at this time turns to the Duke and asks for forgiveness. Well, she wonders if it's okay that he treated the Marquise and the Duke that way. Her interlocutor replies that the lady doesn't need to worry about it. After all, he doesn't care about anyone except the Emperor. The lady is his Duchess of Montefeltro. After which he asks her to understand already, to which the girl answers that yes. At the same moment, someone asks for attention and says that His Highness Prince Theobald and Lady Est of Monaco have arrived. The main character looks at these two and then lowers her head and wonders if the guy has already found another victim. At this time, the butler also reports that His Majesty the Emperor and Empress have arrived and therefore asks to greet them. The Emperor claims that today's banquet is being held in honor of the celebration of the coming-of-age ceremony, so let the birthday boys come up when they hear their name. The first one is Lucas Hugh Montefeltro, and he asks him to step forward. The guy then looks at the main character and realizes that she is still nervous. The girl wants the Duke to go, and the guy realizes that he is overwhelmed by a very strange feeling, after which he kisses the lady's hand and is surprised by something. The Duke heads to the Emperor and does not think about the main game why he did it. Lucas greets the Emperor and Empress, after which the head of the empire congratulates Lucas Hugh Montefeltro on his coming of age. He also hopes that the boy will be loyal to his empire in the future, after which the Duke thanks him. The main character thinks that there is some strange atmosphere there and wonders if it is because of her mood that it seems that way. When someone announces that Heinrich Pradio will be next, Lucas takes the girl by the hand, after which the main character smiles. The girl also starts looking around the room and understands that Alfonso is not interested in her, Henry is not interested either, and finally none of them pay attention to her. The lady understands that only Prince Theobald remains, who is also not interested in her. But when the girl looks at the prince, she sees that he is staring straight at her. Layla is shocked and wonders why he is looking at her like that, or whether he is looking at Lucas, but then the girl realizes that he is definitely looking at her. At this time, the Duke notices that the lady is uncomfortable and asks if she would like something to drink. The main character replies yes, after which she asks if he can bring juice, to which he agrees. Layla understands that it seems she has calmed down a little because she is glad that she is not alone now. The Emperor says that since the ceremony is coming to an end, let those present begin to rest. At this time, someone approaches the lady, and when she turns around, she thinks it is the Duke and thanks him for his work. But when the girl looks up, she realizes that it is the prince. The brunette says that the lady still looks ugly. He also understands that he is so embarrassed by this ugly lady and what she is doing at this banquet. She is so annoying and pushes you away that the guy cannot understand his feelings. But with such an appearance, she dares to turn away from him, and he can't stand insecure people. At this time, the main character apologizes to His Majesty, but thinks why this is happening and why it happened. She lived 10 years in humiliation, and is it really going to end like this? But at that very moment, someone else approaches the lady and tells the crown prince that they haven't seen each other for a long time. The guy also asks if he has any business with his wife, but his interlocutor replies that the lady is not his wife yet, so it's too early to judge. The Duke replies that he spoke with the Emperor before the ceremony, and they will be married soon. So there is nothing strange in calling the lady his wife? The prince at this time thinks why this irritates him so much. But at the same moment, the ladies near him turn to His Highness and offer to dance one dance. This girl also asks if he would like to dance with her. The prince then realizes that it is better to ignore them because all the nobles are looking at them. He says that it is true and he has kept the lady waiting too long. His interlocutor immediately says that it would be a great honor for her to dance with him. When the main character sees these two dancing, she realizes that the prince has finally left her alone. The Duke at this time states that it is their turn next and asks if the lady would like to dance with him. The girl understands that perhaps her place is right next to him, after which she extends her hand to the guy. And she says that she would be happy. The lady understands that she feels so alive and she has such a feeling that her heart is about to, it will break, but she has still such a tense state. The girl thinks that it is so strange that it is impossible to describe in words, but at the same moment her dress tears a little. In shock, he wonders when it managed to break, but the Duke tells the lady that everything is fine, after which he offers her to hold on tighter and lifts the lady in his arms. Yes, they go out into the street. Then the man says that they need to walk to the carriage, so after that they hold on tighter. The main character agrees but realizes that she feels so awkward and wonders why she is so nervous. The coachman also approaches them and addresses them in surprise, and the man says that they are going home. So let him open the door and drive the carriage. When the guy gets into the carriage with his future wife, he continues to hold her. The main character says that he can let her go there, but the Duke turns to the lady and says that he thinks he needs to contact the one who made this dress for her. Her fault. But the man insists that he must immediately call the seamstress. After all, how can they be called the best in the North with such skills? Layla replies that perhaps she just gained weight. But at that very moment, the guy starts laughing and says that he has such a strange wife. But he continues to tickle her lower back, and the lady has no reaction. The main character understands that, of course, because there is a layer of clothing there. At this time, the Duke says that he thinks the girl is hiding something and asks if she wants to confess to him herself. He also wonders if she knows why he thinks that way, since the number of freckles then and now is completely different. He also asks the lady what she thinks this could be about and whether she thinks he is so stupid that he won't notice anything. Layla is shocked and understands that this is a complete failure and the end. The girl does not understand what to do because no excuse will help now. At this time, the guy tells the lady not to be scared because it is a secret. He won't put pressure on her but asks her to be honest with him. When they arrive at the mansion, the Duke helps the lady out of the carriage. He also says that the girl looks tired and asks whether he should walk her home. Layla replies that if she doesn't answer, she will get there on her own. The girl also understands that they have already arrived, and she thinks that it is better to go and rest. Layla understands that he told her so much while they were riding in the carriage, and wouldn't it be rude if she went to her room? The girl thinks that this guy is so decent and cultured, but she doesn't understand why he always walks around with such a serious face. The lady also does not understand what kind of aura this is around him, and if all this was a game, then what is he really like? Layla doesn't know how to live with him now, and she also wants to sleep. At that moment, someone tells the lady that he will help her. And the girl understands that despite everything, he is so caring, so she wants to know the real him. After all, he is the ideal man she has been dreaming about all this time. She simply fell in love when she saw his smile. The lady also thinks how such a perfect person can exist, but at the same moment, Lucas turns to her and asks what the girl is thinking about. The main character jumps up that it's nothing, and her interlocutor says that the ballet shoes called the butler if she needs anything. It seems that while he was not there, someone already took care of everything and let the people on vacation talk about it later. Layla says that they have nothing to talk about, but the guy will leave her to think about what to do with the seamstress. After all, the culprit must be punished. The girl replies that this is true and it will be necessary to discuss it. Layla understands that she thought he wanted to talk about her secret, but if he only wants to talk about the seamstress, then she can calm down. The two wish each other a good rest, and when the guy moves on, he realizes that he has never had anything like this, so that he feels so free next to another person. All this time, because of his ugliness, he was only ridiculed and he did not have the courage to fight back. But at the ceremony, he did not feel constrained or insecure. On the contrary, he was happy and free. Lucas thinks that this was the first time in his life, but then he remembers something else important. He understands that they have guests, and when the guy opens the door, he asks how sorry he is for daring to enter the Duke's house. In his absence, the former Duchess Anna at this time only says that it is impolite to enter without knocking. The woman also wonders if she needs permission to see her son, and she sees a guy just arrived and put a woman in her room who hasn't even officially become a duchess, her out of this room immediately because she is still the duchess of this hunting mansion, and without any rights to inheritance. At this time, Lucas turns to Michael and asks if it's time for him to do his homework, since he should go and study, to which the boy agrees. The woman says that she is still the mother of the future duke and asks how the guy dares to do such a thing. But the man only replies that he is the owner of this duchy. He also addresses Vincent and Owen, and he orders to search all the servants that this woman brought and let the butler take care of her until tomorrow. The blonde screams in shock, asking her relative if this is too much, and her interlocutor replies that screaming in someone else's house is impolite and very ugly, and let her never call him that because he never considered her his daughter-in-law. The woman clutches her dress and realizes that this is strange because the guy used to be quiet and withdrawn, and now he is a completely different person, the ancient wolf god Lupus with the noble and stately god. Even having married a man he did not love, he never betrayed him. Therefore, he did not like betrayal, and he himself could not stand traitors. And he is a descendant of Lupus, the god of love and family. As the boy moves on, he finally sighs, and he understands that this woman came to him at such a time. He also wonders whether the descendants of Lupus are born with powers or with a curse. The guy also thinks that he needs to take medicine because this is the breeding season that is ready to come regularly for the male heirs of God, after which he drinks the medicine and realizes that he urgently needs to drive away the former duchess. Thanks to this medicine, he can restrain himself, so before it's too late, it's necessary to get rid of unnecessary problems. The guy thinks how annoying it is. He also remembers how he recently turned to his mother and apologized. But the woman only told this monster to go away because she was so disgusted to look at it. The young man felt her contempt and hatred, and now he understands that he cannot even resist this. So maybe this lady will hate him because of this too. The main character at this time takes off her jewelry. She understands that nevertheless the coming-of-age ceremony went well. The girl looks at one of the hairpins and says that she doesn't even know if it held well. Before the ceremony, Lucas sent her a box with jewelry, and when the butler brought it to the lady, the girl asked if it was really for her. The man replied that yes, the gentleman had ordered the lady to wear it for the coming-of-age ceremony. The main character says that it is very beautiful and then asks if it is really a hydrangea. Her interlocutor replies that this is true because the jewelry is shaped like a larynx and can only be worn by members of the imperial family. All the items in this box have such power, and if someone puts on something like this, no one outside the country will be able to treat it carelessly. He also thinks that these decorations will perfectly suit the lady and the main character. Thinks if he wants to say that this way she will not look funny and scary. That's what the lady thought, but at the banquet the Duke said that his wife would be respected because she would be of imperial blood, and she will also become the Duchess of Montefeltro. The main character understands that the longer she is there, the more she will learn about him. And then she starts thinking about how she should react to this, but at that very moment someone knocks on the lady's door. Layla asks who is there, and her interlocutor replies that it is Connor and he came instead of the butler. After which the guy even says that he is coming in, but the main character screams at him to wait. The girl understands that she didn't give permission to come in, so what's going on? But she's already washed off her makeup. After which the girl puts freckles on herself and heads to the door. She wonders who allowed them to open the door without permission. But Connor claims that in place of Master Vincent, he brought the lady servants from whom she must choose someone, and he has little time, so let the lady hurry. The main character thinks about the maids and understands that she can see how they will act in a given situation. The girl turns to Connor and orders him to bring tea and dessert and for the rest of them to come into the room. The lady realized that she had become so accustomed to Vincent that it was a little awkward. After which she looks at the maids, but realizes that they are servants who cannot even look at her. Layla thinks what a disgusting attitude, after which she tells him everything so that they from left to right tell her about their abilities. One of the ladies claims that she can't do anything except comb her hair, and another says that she's good at cleaning dust off objects. 3 claims that as soon as she goes to bed, she immediately falls asleep, and the last one says that she has no abilities. When the main character thinks why they came at all, Connor brings the lady the dessert she asked for. And he also hopes that she chose a servant for herself. If so, then let her answer. But the main character immediately replies that no, and she likes them all, so she can't decide. So maybe she should also choose a separate butler. Connor is surprised by this. After which the girl says that she has an idea, and the lady suggests getting started. A little while later, one of the maids shows off her family's special protective cream. If you apply it before bed, her skin will glow in the morning, and this cream was made by her brother the alchemist. The main character applies this cream to her skin and then says that it is excellent, and the girl passes by in response to which she thanks her. Layla says that now only Connor remains, and she congratulates his son on his appointment as a personal servant. The rest can be free, and the ladies immediately thank the mistress. The main character smiles after that. About 2 hours before this, the lady suggested to start the game. Connor said that he and the servants were very busy and did not have time to entertain the ladies, but the main character only asked who would bring her some water because the one who would cope faster would suit her best. At that moment, one of them ran, and the lady sent away the most attentive one, so the game of knocking out can begin. The girl said that the next round is about who can walk around the room 30 times the fastest. After that, a competition for who is the most flexible, while Connor said that he can bend as much as he wants. Then another maid bent over and claimed that she walked on 4 legs. The next round was about who could spin in place the longest and who could best imitate a dog's bark. And the last one was a competition for the eliminated because they had to bring a gift that she would like. The girl enjoyed the game until the very last round of the revival of the eliminated. And now the lady understands that it looks like modern cosmetics because the texture there is very dense. Layla says that she is tired, so her personal servant can go. The girl understands that he is clearly familiar with life in society, and this is very noticeable. This guy is one of those young people who can't do anything but are very hot-tempered and mentally weak. Initially, he was the target of this game, so he will soon give it up. The main character claims that now she can finally wash and lie down. When the lady lies down in bed, she realizes that making decisions is so tiring. But it's very refreshing, and the coming-of-age ceremony went off without incident. Layla wonders if she should be more honest, and she won't even put that "what" in. A little while later, the former Duchess wonders why the young gentleman has changed so much. Usually he didn't even care if she would arrive or where Michael was, so she doesn't even know what happened during this time. Well, at that very moment, the woman thinks about the ugly lady and understands that the only thing that happened there was her arrival, so she should meet her in person. A little while later, the main character is walking around the mansion with good makeup. The main character wonders if they saw it and felt it, because this is the real skill of a professional makeup artist. The lady understands that she cannot suddenly become a different person or change her face greatly, but thanks to her natural appearance, she can afford this, and a little while later, the girl enters the room and greets the young gentleman. Well, all she sees is the Duchess, and the woman says she's pleased to meet you. The Duchess also says her name is Anna Hugh Montefeltro. The main character wonders if this is Michael's mother, and if this woman abandoned her son because of his contemptuous looks. Now, the girl says that she is pleased to meet you and claims that her name is Leila El Este, after which the two exchange glances and the girl realizes that she doesn't know why this woman came, but she can't lose to her. Leila says that the young gentleman is finally in a good mood, and the boy replies that he is, and also adds that the lady is ugly. But at that very moment, he closes his mouth and looks at his mother. The woman tells Michael that it is indecent to speak like that, and if he wants to point out a person's beautiful appearance, he must be able to do it with dignity. She also says that careless laughter is also indecent, and does he really want to become a laughingstock? Leila argues that ugly people should be careful in their expressions and intonations. She also asks if the guy has forgotten all of his mother's instructions, and the young man immediately apologizes. But the main character says that everything is fine because they are a family and she is not angry, and also does not make fun of the child when he is happy. The Duchess says that this is very arrogant and says that they are not officially married yet. The woman also claims that she is the mother of this child and asks by what right the girl interferes. She also asks if the lady taught the child this in her absence and if this child is the successor to the duchy. If he is not respected in society, will the girl take responsibility? The girl only asks why the Duchess fed the young gentleman cucumbers and put them on his face. The woman asks what she is talking about, and if the lady has decided to suddenly change the subject while being in a disadvantageous position. Leila visits the Duchess and says that she is so attentive to the child. Before going to bed, the maids smeared his face with something, which caused the allergy and redness, and because of that, it itched all the time. They said it was an effect of the massage, but everything itched. He didn't even know that his mouth was swelling because of this, and his mother just watched this all this time. The woman asks what the girl is talking about and asks the boy if it is true. The young man replies that yes, if he eats a cucumber, everything will hurt and itch. At the same moment, the Duchess wonders why he didn't tell her anything, and what if something happened to him? Well, at that very moment, someone else joins the conversation and claims that the boy said this, but her people ignored it. He also turns to Chelsea and Rose and asks if it's true and if it's good that the woman brought the fired maids, after which he orders the servants to take the two away when the woman screams for them to wait. The Duke even says that she should leave at dawn too. Not throwing her out right now is the last straw for his manners. The blonde claims that she just wanted to see her son, but at that very moment the boy turns to his mother, and he says that Leila was not ugly. The woman immediately gets up from her seat and tries to justify herself. Well, the Duke tells her to stop because apparently she is not able to observe table etiquette. So let the woman come out because she is scaring the child after Anna was thrown out. She returned to her room, and although apparently she wanted to say a lot, well, she looked at Michael a little. She left without a word. A little while later, the main characters turn to the boy and ask for forgiveness. After all, she spoke without thinking about his feelings. The young man wonders if she really thinks that he is a child with everyone and does not understand anything. He will go to the garden and look at the hydrangeas. The boy also offers the lady to go with him if she suddenly has nothing to do, to which she agrees. The girl understands that she was worried when he ate silently at dinner, but it's good that he's okay. The boy says a little while later that the lady looks a little different today. And she looks like that time. Leila replies that she too has decided to gather courage like the young master. Michael asks if she is talking about courage, and the girl replies that yes, he is very brave. He studies and plays sports every day, and such a young guy is already busy like a real baron. At this time, the young man suggests that she better tell why her uncle is sick and what happened. The main character replies that she doesn't even know and nothing like that happened. Leila understands that you are against this woman. He also went on vacation. The girl remembers how he asked for forgiveness because he was not feeling well, so they would see each other tomorrow. And now, the lady tells the boy not to worry about it because she will go and visit him later. The boy thanks the lady but says that he would like his eyes to be green like his uncle's or blue like hers. Layla asks why, and the young man answers something because he doesn't like the color of his eyes. When he looks in the mirror, it seems to him that he looks pathetic. The main character recalls how the boy's mother said that careless laughter was also indecent and asked if he wanted to become a laughingstock. The young man says that he doesn't want to deal with these people. He doesn't like pink and similar colors. But the main character at the same moment says that she likes the color of his eyes, and she really likes the color pink. The Baron once wore a pink shirt and it suited him. Let's ask if it's true, and the ladies answer that it is, and he should try one on too. The boy is a little embarrassed by this but agrees. He also asks his motherland why she keeps changing her face and whether she is definitely not a witch. Layla says that he calls her ugly again, and then asks if he likes her face, to which he replies that he does. The girl understands that he is so serious and thanks him. The young man replies that it is nothing, after which he gets up from his place and says that he will go into the house because he needs to read and go to bed. The main character invites him to go together, but the guy just looks at her silently. He also says that he can go alone, but he will go with her because she doesn't even have a personal maid yet. A little while later, the main character is in an interesting place. Layla realizes that she could not sleep and decided to take a walk. But in the end, she found a place that she hadn't even guessed about, and the girl wondered if cleaning was really going on there. Layla remembers the prince's look and also Lucas's real face. She also thinks about meeting the Baroness. The girl understands that so much has happened in such a short period of time, but she can't even sleep peacefully because of these thoughts. Or it could be because she slept during the day, after which the girl goes to one of the trees and thinks what kind of species it is. The lady notices his pleasant aroma, but when she is about to return to her room, she realizes that she does not know the way at all. And she really needs to find an extra maid, but at that very moment the lady hears someone screaming that this is a stupid girl. This girl screams again, is it really necessary to listen, grabbing onto this? And won't she put this thing? But the girl asks why she should clean there alone, and you tell them to stop bothering her. One of the maids says that since she is neither beautiful nor has any origins, she should listen carefully. And the other asks if the girl really looked at the Baron's ugly wife and thinks that she will succeed in something. Their interlocutor suggests that they stop talking like that because the lady is a baroness and let them observe subordination, and also think better about the fact that the young gentleman is carrying snacks. One of the women wonders who she is to tell her the young gentleman always. The main character at this time understands that although they are discussing her, maybe it is worth intervening, after which she keeps asking him what kind of noise is going on there, which makes the maids go into shock. They immediately scream, "Is this really the Baroness?" And the main character says that she has "my ears are burning, and I wonder what they are doing there instead of working." One of the ladies says that you can't go in there whenever you want, and only those who officially bear the surname Montefeltro can go in there. Layla says that this is interesting and wonders who will punish those who break this rule. One of the maids replies that of course he is a baron. How could he have come out in the middle of the night and gotten lost, and he should at least live up to his title a little. Layla asks if she is talking about her and if the Baron will punish his beloved, after which the woman keeps offering to talk about it because the front door is wide open, and instead of cleaning, they are doing something incomprehensible. Also tell her about the rules, and the lady says that they need to be punished. The woman also tells them to give their names, but at the same moment one of the maids screams that Jessie is always lazy at work, and she already received a warning. The main character wonders if they really think everyone is a fool. She also wonders how she can beg in such a shabby state. Jessie immediately apologizes and says that she fell by accident. Layla understands that she will look after this girl since she does not want to work. She also says that it's enough and she will punish this girl, so let the others leave and I will run away from you at the same moment. The main character asks if they didn't even say goodbye and then turns to Jessie and tells the girl to follow her, to which she agrees. A little while later, the maid is already sitting in front of the mistress, and the main character is wondering why she is frozen there and whether she will eat her. Jessie says no and claims that she will accept any punishment. Well, usually she can't go up to the 3rd floor. Layla says that she brought the girl there, so it's not a problem, and let her turn in this direction because she needs to apply the medicine. Jessie asks if the mistress is talking about medicine, and when the main character applies it, the maid says that she will cut herself off. Layla claims that she brought the girl there for two reasons. One is to heal her wounds, and the second, after which the main character asks if Jessie wants to be her personal servant. Layla understands that Jessie rejected her offer and the girl said that this part is for her, but she will probably refuse. She is a low-class servant and has no rights. The main character said that, okay, and she can go and rest for today. The girl also handed the maid something and said that if you put this napkin in water, bubbles will appear in it. This requires thoroughly washing the face and then gently drying it with a towel. After that, let the girl apply the cream, and if the skin is damaged, then it is better to apply this ointment not with your hands, but with a towel using patting movements. Let her also not forget to do this every day before going to bed, and the girl thanks the lady and also says that she will remember this. When she leaves, she asks for forgiveness and says that it is very late and also wishes the lady good night. Layla understands that even if the girl is of a lower class, she will soon rise and they will see each other soon. The main character realizes that she has already given away all the cosmetics and maybe she should ask the Duke. But the girl understands that in any case, everything in her cosmetic bag is constantly renewed, and she can even open a business with it. Layla wonders how Lucas is feeling in general since he was so cheerful. But he returned to his previous state, and he feels so bad that the lady thinks that she could help somehow. The girl seems to get to know him more and more, and they become closer. Well, she would like to get to know him better. A little while later, the lady goes to the Duke's room, but realizes that the path to his room is not easy. On the way, she meets Anna, and the woman says that she would like to talk to the lady for a while. Layla wonders what kind of meeting this is so early in the morning. The Duchess tells the butler to bring them tea into the living room, to which he agrees, and the main character realizes that she hasn't even answered yet. After this, the blonde tells the lady to follow her, and the main character understands that if she is going to be rude again, she will not sit quietly. A little while later, the woman asks the others to leave, but the Turkish one apologizes and says that it is impossible. The blonde claims that if he is worried, he can stand right outside the door and also report to his master if necessary. The main character thinks what this woman is going to say and says that she is not going to do what he is thinking about. Layla tells Vincent that everything is fine, and the man says that if the lady thinks so, he will wait outside the door. At this time, the blonde says that what she and Michael told her yesterday tormented her all night, and it was offensive. The girl asks if the lady passed because she is angry and wants to pull out her hair. The woman replies that she would like to, but the main character says that she won't, after which the blonde claims that she came for answers to some questions, and Layla asks if she wants answers from her. Anna replies that yes, and she wants to hear them from the ugly woman after the chip. The girl thinks how annoying it is. The woman says that a person should be beautiful, and if this is not the case, he will be despised. Leaving the child with the maids and looking for the mistress is logical. The woman says that it was strange. After all, the child uses obscene language and laughs absurdly. The young man behaved so indecently but looked happy. When she heard his words about the lady, he seemed like a different person to her. Michael usually always looked at the floor, and he looked into her eyes for the first time. The woman remembered this look all night and could not sleep. She decided to meet the lady even though she knew that she would not be happy about it. The main character at this time says that apparently she regrets it. Every child deserves to grow up with love, and Michael deserves it too. But when the woman wants to say something else, the butler comes into the room and asks for forgiveness. For the carriage of the lady has arrived. The Duke has prepared a carriage for her servants and baggage, so let her get ready and leave. The main character gets up from her seat and says that she will go. Layla realizes that this woman was not as rude as she expected. Well, the lady is still so tired, and the Duke will probably meet with her before leaving, and the young gentleman is in the midst of his studies, so she will also go and rest a little. The girl thinks that she misses these two. A little while later, she comes to the Duke's office and asks if he called her. The man replies that yes and wishes her a good day, but to live like that, the wind chases after being late. The conversation with that woman dragged on. The lady realizes that today he is wearing green and it suits his eyes so well. The guy himself is handsome and has pretty good taste, so she can't take her eyes off him. The guy says that she is looking at him with a special look again, but usually she didn't even want to make eye contact because of his ugliness. Layla asks what he is talking about because his face type is completely to her taste. The guy just smiles after this, and the main character wonders why he's laughing because it's the pure truth. The man replies that he is hearing this for the first time, and that the lady has unusual tastes, and he wonders if that is why she wears such makeup. The main character just smiles awkwardly and replies that, of course, the Duke says that she must have changed her mind since she is gradually opening up, but she is not completely frank, yet Layla understands that he himself did not even say what he was sick from. Well, since he doesn't want to talk, there's nothing to be done, and the lady says that they are only spouses by contract. The Duke asks if this is true, but the main character is interested in what he said, after which the guy touches her on the cheek and repeats whether this is really so. The main character replies that probably, but wonders what the guy is talking about. When the Duke is about to say something else, the girl just closes her eyes, but he pinches her cheek and says that she stretches so well. Lucas claims that the number of freckles has decreased again and his skin feels like pudding, so he apologizes. The guy asks what she costs, offers her to sit down and talk, to which the lady agrees and understands that her heart sank into her heels. The young man also claims that he heard the lady was meeting with candidates for the role of personal servant and is interested in whether she found a suitable person. The girl replies that yes, but she is not one of the applicants. The lady wants to hire a girl named Jessie, and she is not supposed to go up to the 3rd floor. The Duke says that since the lady chose her, this can be fixed and he will talk to Owen. The main character thanks him and says that if it is not too much trouble, will he help her find some small glass jars because she wants to try something? The guy understands that now he smells something sweet, and at first he thought that this scent would not suit her, but now just by inhaling his soul feels lighter. Layla apologizes but asks the Duke if he can do it. The man at this time again thinks about how calm he feels next to someone who wears such a scent. The main character turns to the Duke again and the guy asks what is going on. The lady apologizes and says that he hasn't answered for so long, after which everyone asks him if everything is okay and maybe he hasn't fully recovered yet. The guy replies that if he hadn't answered he would have just been thinking for a bit and asks for forgiveness. He also claims that he will send the jars to her room as soon as possible, and if the lady needs something else, he will buy it. After all, there is nothing there that she cannot take, after which the lady smiles and thanks him. The guy understands that he would like the lady to be calm next to him, but first he will listen to what she wants. He will be patient until she opens her heart to him. The Duke also says that the lady should pick out a new dress and asks if she has lost weight. Vitaly looks smaller. Layla says that no matter what he says, he knows that it is not true. Well, her interlocutor claims that the lady is not speaking directly, and is she really hiding something? When the girl doesn't know what to answer, the guy tells her to forget about it, because this time he will pick a more careful master, and if she goes north... Well, at that very moment, they hear someone else knocking on the room, and the guy asks, "Who is there?" At the same moment, the boy answers his uncle that it was him, and he heard that the ugly woman was there. Layla asks if this is really a young gentleman, and the boy just enters the room, and the girl says that the boy is so sweaty, after which she asks how heavy this basket is. The girl offers her help, but the boy replies that it is not necessary because it is not hard for him at all and just a little hot. After which, the young man puts the basket on the table and the main character asks what he brought and what that sound is. The boy replies that it was given to him, and when the main character looks into the basket, she is surprised. The Duke at the same moment says how huge these stones are and asks if the guy built a house in the garden. The main character asks in surprise what stones the Duke is talking about because they are precious stone ore. The girl notices amethyst, opal, sapphire, and even ruby there, and wonders if the guy is really giving it all to her. The boy replies that he is, and let her not be so surprised because there is nothing special about it. The Duke at this time says that he also knows about precious stones, but wonders why the guy brought them there. The main character tells the gentleman that she is very pleased, and the boy asks the Duke if he sees that even the ugly one likes it. Lucas then smiles and says that Michael got ahead of him, which is why he lost. The Duke also hands the lady some kind of ticket and tells her to go with him for clothes. The main character looking at it wonders if it's a magical blank check. The lady also says that maybe it's her birthday today and she doesn't know. Michael asks if this is really true, and the Duke suggests that she let him know when he arrives. After which he suggests the lady to go before it's too late, but the girl tells him to wait a second. And won't the Duke go with them? It would be fun. The man replies that he has a lot of work and it's hard to find time for anything, so they'll go together another time. The lady will tell everything when she returns, and the main character replies that of course and also next time they will definitely go together. As soon as the man closes the door, he becomes embarrassed and thinks how pathetic he is because he began to be jealous of the child, and there is no reason for this. The next day, the main character is already in the city and realizes that she was unable to see Lucas at dinner that day. And today, because of leaving, he didn't show up for breakfast. So the girl wonders if she really said that it wasn't that. Michael at this time turns to the ugly woman and asks what she is thinking about. The girl apologizes and says that she was thinking a little. And she also remembers yesterday's image of the Duke. The young man asks if she is really talking about how he slammed the door, and the girl is not offended at her uncle for not going with them. And since he is so busy, she needs to at least buy him a gift, to which the main character replies yes. After which they go into one of the shops, and the boy says that it seems like the clothes were poorly made last time. He found out that the owner here doesn't get along with the owner of that workshop, so it will be better. There, Layla thinks that she doesn't understand this logic, but the young man clearly tried. At this time, the boy wonders why there is no one there except them, and then points to the owner, Kate. At that very moment, someone cries out, greeting them, and asks for forgiveness because she was too carried away by the preparations. The main character thinks how can she be late if they warned her in advance, and in such a state too? This woman has no manners in front of the white gentleman and does not apologize. But, at the same moment, the girl tells the beautiful young men, like peonies, to come by and sit down. After all, you can admire them until you fall into eternal sleep. The main character thinks about what this girl is talking about, and she is somehow strange. A little while later, someone tells her that some important visitors have arrived, and she has nothing to treat them to except tea. The main character realizes that this tea is very tasty, and she just wants to drink it. After which the lady says, "What a wonderful aroma this tea has." Her interlocutor says that it is great that the lady liked it. The woman also says that the lady has such an angelic voice and a pleasant appearance, so she is interested in what kind of outfit people are looking for. The boy replies that his aunt came for a dress, and the woman says that the lady is the aunt of their young master, with eyes as beautiful as a blossoming flower. After which she asks them to wait a second, and she will bring everything to them, to which the main character agrees. The girl understands that it is surprising that from this lady it sounds completely unfeigned. Well, at that very moment, the young man wonders what kind of person she is. The main character asks what this young gentleman is talking about. The young man said that she said that his eyes were like a flower, and wondered why she flattered him like that. This woman is definitely hiding something, but the main character does not answer that this girl showed her sincerely, and apparently not only she likes his eyes. The boy asks in surprise if this is true, and says that the lady is just calming him down, and says this because she is too kind. The main character at the same moment asks what he is talking about, because these are her sincere emotions, and the girl understands that it seems they have chosen a good, albeit unusual place. At the same moment, someone apologizes for interrupting this wonderful cooing of two birds. Layla realizes that she can't get used to her manner of speech, and the woman at that very moment presents her dresses and says that they were all made by her personally, and she will show them each one. Layla wonders if she is really demonstrating a dress on a hanger, and this is a modern method and also very convenient, but it turns out that she is doing this because of the lack of employees. The lady with red hair at this time says that maybe she should introduce herself first, and Layla replies that yes. The woman claims that her name is Kate, and she makes outfits that can best highlight her natural charm and brighten up gray, everyday life. The girl presents her first dress, and the main character realizes that she hasn't felt so calm for a long time. Although society seems to be obsessed with aristocrats, everyone she met, regardless of their position, considered it their duty to insult her. One of the ladies asked how it was possible to show up at the Imperial Ball dressed like that, and maybe she should be stopped. Her face looks even more ugly, and one of the maids said that if you think about it, then first the lady should take care of herself. Someone else said that freaks get along well with each other. Since childhood, the girl grew up under contemptuous glances. If you complain to Lucas about rude maids, he will probably punish them and throw them out. The decision is already close, but in this country, everyone is like this, and the girl is wondering if it is possible to punish and expel everyone. Even if you get angry, it's always sad to take revenge on such moments. The woman at this time says that this dress is made so that it looks good from the front and is comfortable in the waist. Layla thinks that it's good that there are still such people, and the girl says that she liked this one the most, so she will choose him. The woman says what an honor it is and asks if she can help the lady try it on, to which the girl replies that everything is fine and she can handle it herself. The woman says it's so exciting when lovely visitors like something. Layla says that she is glad to see good clothes there and thinks that it is a little unusual, but it seems that this girl does not judge people by their appearance at all. She can find her charm in everyone, and the main characters are so glad that they met. A little while later, the girl puts on the dress and asks if it suits her. Layla realizes that she has finally put on a dress to her taste, and even without a corset, and it is very comfortable. But at that very moment, her interlocutor falls and screams to the mistress. The main character is a little surprised by this, and her interlocutor says that it is really wonderful. Layla claims that she understood her, suggests the lady to be careful with her knees. Michael also says that it is very beautiful. The main character thanks for the young gentleman and says that I also really like it. The young man at the same moment claims that they are taking all their dresses, which surprises the girl. The main character asks the young gentleman what he is talking about, and of course she likes all these dresses, but why spend so much money? The boy asks what she is talking about because he will buy all this with his pocket money because his uncle says that it will be just enough to buy a store. Layla wonders if he's talking about a whole shop. The lady with red hair says that the possibilities of aristocrats are incredible. She never even dreamed of such a thing. The main character thanks Michael, but says that she needs to spend her pocket money more rationally. The girl thinks that she understands everything, but adults should know it well. The lady also says that later he may want to buy something more expensive, or he may need the money for more useful things. After all, these are his savings. Well, the boy says that at home all he does is study, so he has nowhere to spend his money, and he doesn't even know what to spend it on. Layla says that he is always so busy with his studies, and the young man replies that his uncle says the same thing, and that it's fine for him. That's why he doesn't feel sorry to spend all this money, and he's glad that he can give something to the lady. The main character at the same moment thinks what an angel he is, and the other lady agrees with him. After which, the two address the young gentleman at the same time. The child with red hair says that everything is fine because she will give him the cheaper dress. But the main character replies that it is not necessary because she worked so hard on the dresses and should receive the full amount for them. The girl understands that nothing can be done, and she needs to put everything or nothing on the line. And then she says that she has money too, so let her carry all the dresses. People understand that in any case everything will come back to her thanks to her cosmetics business. The girl says that they will spend everything, and in her thoughts thanks Lupus for the check. The girl asks the young gentleman if he has any shoes and offers to look. A little while later they are already heading back, and the main character says that today was so much fun. The boy can barely breathe and replies that yes, after which the main character asks him to come to his senses. The young man says that of course it was fun, but he is very tired, and the girl says that you always have to pay for entertainment. After much deliberation, they decided to try on only what they wanted to wear right away and just took the rest with them. It's great that Kate has her own vision even for boys' clothes. At this time, the young man turns to the ugly woman and says that next time they should definitely take their uncle with them, to which the girl replies that they will do so. Layla understands that the boy is definitely an angel fallen from heaven. Lucas thinks that he cannot fall into eternal sleep alone, and they will suffer together. At this time, the girl also asks how long the guy will call her ugly since she has a name, Layla. The boy replies that he knows this, but when he is about to call her ugly again, he corrects himself and calls the girl Layla, after which he tells his lady to call him by name too, to which she agrees. The boy is lying in bed, and the main character realizes that after putting Michael to bed before washing herself, she went out into the hallway. But now someone is pressing her to the bed, and the main character in shock asks the gentleman what he is doing. The lady thinks, how did this even happen? A little while later, the two of them are sitting on the bed, and the lady realizes that she hadn't thought about anything like that at all. The girl just wanted to drop off the gift before going to wash up, but all this because of its aroma. Shortly before entering the room, the lady wondered if the Duke was still asleep and then asked if he was there. The main character wondered if he had fallen asleep, and maybe he was still feeling unwell, so she needed to check in tomorrow morning. Tomorrow she will give the gift back and admit how much they spent. But at that moment people felt some smell and realized that it seemed to be coming from his room. The girl, as if possessed, opened the door and entered and approached him while he was sleeping. But when the lady wanted to touch him, the guy grabbed her hand and asked who it was. The girl understands that she does not know how she did not fall into eternal sleep at night because she was mistaken for an assassin. After that, he did not say a word, and maybe he is angry because of her sudden visit and he looks bad. The lady also thinks what to do because all that remains is to beg for forgiveness and bow her head. The girl turns to the gentleman, but when he turns to her, the lady immediately offers him to speak, and the guy thinks why she is so surprised. The Duke says that he understands that it must have been scary and awkward to be caught and laid down, and also by a man who breathed like a wild animal. He will understand if the lady no longer wants to see him, but the main character at the same moment screams that no and asks what he is talking about. The girl also apologizes and says that she scared him, and she wouldn't have come if she knew that he was sleeping. It's just that she and Michael, that is the young gentleman, bought her a gift for him and spent much more than they expected, so she wanted to report it personally. And she got scared seeing that the gentleman was not feeling well and his face was red. The girl apologizes for disturbing his rest, but says that she would never have thought of such a thing seeing his weak side. After this, the guy tells her to wait, and most importantly that the lady should not be offended, and that she did not interfere at all because everything was the other way around and he had a nightmare. Layla asks what kind of nightmare it is, and the man replies that he forgot as soon as he saw her, and now he is as if in a dream. The guy asks if she and her voice are not a dream, to which the lady replies that it seems not. After which the Duke embraces her and offers to stay like this for a little while longer. The man understands that he is even hiding his egoism and trying to draw a line. He can no longer resist his tenderness. The main character at this time says that it is good, and she will stay with him until he falls asleep. The man understands that he never behaved like this even when he was a child, younger than Michael. He also asks if the lady will stay with him for the night, which surprises her, and then she gets up. The girl says that not yet, and now she will bring the cleanser. After this, the guy understands that makeup needs to be removed before going to bed, and that this girl really is unpredictable. The next morning, the Duke wakes up to someone knocking on his room and asking what is going on. The main character asks who came there early in the morning, and the man suggests that the lady sleep some more because he will figure it out. He also goes to the door and asks if it is the butler, but he asked not to wake him up at this hour. But Michael appears behind the door, and the boy screams at his uncle that he needs to put up an ad because the ugly woman is nowhere to be found. The young man screams that it was definitely his mother who did something to her, and how could this have happened? The Duke tries to tell the boy that everything is wrong, but the young man screams that she was definitely in the room when he fell asleep, and when he woke up, she was no longer there. Lucas asks why the guy was in her room, and the boy replies that she didn't return to the room all night, so she was definitely kidnapped, and then he screams at Layla. The man suggests that he calm down and let him speak, but at that very moment the main character gets out of bed and asks what happened. The main character menacingly says that the child might knock in the morning, and why was it necessary to bring him to tears? She also asks Michael not to cry because she will scold this Duke. The man at this time understands that he was going to tell the girl that for the first time in a long time, he is in a good mood in the morning. A little while later, the main character wonders if he has been looking for her since the morning. To which the boy replies that yes, and he was so scared that she was not there. The girl immediately apologizes and says that she was going to give the gentleman a gift, to which the young man replies that everything is fine, or asks if she put on makeup today. The lady replies that yes, and now the Duke knows. The main character understands that after this, she had to apologize for a long time. She asked for forgiveness for the fact that they spent so much money on clothes, and for the sudden invasion of his room, and also the morning misunderstanding. After all, she was wrong to get angry at him right away, and she should have listened to him first. The man replied that it was nothing, because she was simply taking care of his nephew, and that there was nothing wrong with her buying up the entire store. And the fact that he did nothing but got into trouble in the heat of the moment is also not scary, after which the girl asked if he was angry. The lady realizes that she should return the blanket later because she had to drag it away to hide her unpainted face. The girl says that just calling a person and asking him to do something is so ducal. At the same moment, someone else turns to the lady and says that she has brought warm tea. The girl tells Jessie to come in. The girl enters the room and wishes the lady good morning. The main character smells a pleasant aroma of tea and wonders what the blockage is, to which the woman replies that it is with hibiscus and dried fruits. The lady claims that this tea is so aromatic and sweet that she will drink it with pleasure, but the girl also says that it is boring to drink alone. And he asks if the girl wants to have a drink with her, to which the maid replies that yes, and since the lady is offering, she will gladly agree. The lady understands that there are no special instructions for her, and the girl could go and rest, but Jessie voluntarily sits next to her. When they saw each other for the first time after the appointment, the girl claimed that she was her personal servant and thanked the mistress for entrusting her with this job. The lady also said that nothing needs to be done now, but she will do everything possible to help her. The main character understands that this girl stayed with her and said that she is ready to do anything because how will she be without her now? Layla tells the girl to sit next to her because they can drink tea together, which makes her a little surprised. The lady told her to sit down if she was uncomfortable, and it was hard for her to stand all the time, to which the maid thanked her. The girl also asked if the maid uses the cream and medicines that she gave her, but the windows have almost completely disappeared, to which the girl replies that yes, and now the skin does not itch in the mornings. Layla asks if it's nice to wash her face in the morning and answers that yes, and even getting soap on her face doesn't hurt at all. Well, at that very moment, someone else knocks on the door of the room, and the main character asks who is there, after which she offers to come in. Michael immediately enters the room and wishes Layla a good morning. The main character also greets the boy, but wonders what brought him here at this hour. The lady is also going to introduce him to her personal maid, but when she turns around, she does not see her next to her. The woman at this time stands near the sofa and bows, and also says that she is pleased to meet the young gentleman. The maid claims that she is the Duchess's maid, and her name is Jessie Collins. Michael also greets her at this time, and the main character says that the maid is probably worried because she saw him for the first time. After this, the boy suggests that the girl take a better look at this because the condition of his skin has improved, and now even when he looks in the mirror, he looks beautiful. Layla answers that this is how the skin color became much better. The young man says that, thanks to the things she gave him, everything worked out for him. The girl claims that cosmetics, of course, also had an effect, but it's all thanks to his good sleep and proper nutrition, to which the boy replies that, of course, because she said it was good for him. The young man also says that what she asked for that time is almost ready and will arrive soon, to which the main character is surprised and wonders if it will already arrive. The lady understands that they thought for a long time about what to do with the stones that Michael brought. And having drawn a sketch, she ordered something special. The young man at this time says that yes, they did everything according to her sketches, and let the ladies see. The main character at this time is interested in why the sketches are there and what the master is guided by then. At the same moment, someone comes in and claims that it was possible to leave the drawing of the Baroness with him as a copy. The man claims that he doesn't know what kind of ball is there, but it was just brought in. Their main character, looking at the guy, thinks how perfect he looks. The girl also asks if he personally received it, but the man replies that yes, and it was on his way. They can open the package together with Michael and see what is inside, to which the girl agrees and asks if the boy will move over a little, to which he replies yes. He also asks his uncle what is going on because he is smiling and speaking differently than before. The man replies that he is simply in a good mood, but wonders if something is wrong, to which the young man replies that nothing of the sort is wrong. Layla says that Michael looks embarrassed, and the Duke at this time notices that the two of them seem to have become closer. He also asks, what is it that the lady even drew the sketch herself? The girl replies that it is a toy for children that develops their mental abilities and fine motor skills, after which the lady asks the maid to clean the table. The maid immediately agrees and asks if she should prepare new snacks, to which the girl replies that yes, because brain activity causes sugar to drop. When the lady lifts the suitcase, she says that it is so heavy, and it is immediately obvious that there are things made of precious stones. the girl thought about making jewelry but decided to use her past memories. When she opens the suitcase, she sees a toy Lego. The lady understands that before her parents plunge into eternal sleep. They often played this game with them, and she would like to create similar memories for Michael. At this time, the Duke is wondering what kind of stones these are and whether they are really cubes. But Michael screams out what kind of stones these are because they are a cool thing. Layla says that this is the first time he has seen one like this, but she wonders how he knows how to use it. The young man replies that Layla showed him and let the Duke look, because if you connect like this, you can build anything. He will build a house, a park, and even a sea. The man watches the boy with a little surprise. And then everyone is surprised at him and also asks if he knows about architectural styles. And also, is he really going to build a house from the roof? The young man then asks what an architectural style is. After which, the Duke shows him where to place it on its edge to make a step and asks how many rooms there will be and also how many floors. The young man answers that there are 10 rooms and 3 floors. He also asks what the size of the rooms is for. The main character understands that she did not think that the Duke would like this too, and it is so unexpected. It all looks like they are one family. A little while later, the ladies are lying on the bed and realize that they have been playing all day. If it continues like this, it will be really great. This is a contract marriage, so it will inevitably end. But it is so similar to that happy time when my parents were around. After which, the lady almost cries, but at the same moment she gets up and screams, "Why cry?" After all, you need to think about the future and for the lady to think about what will happen next. She also wonders if it would be better to think about this in advance, since she has read a lot. If the worldview is different, then I don't want to refer to it, and that's also interesting. The lady reads about a book called The Water Spirit in a Bottle, and also about her favorite one called The Culinary Master. But then the lady also notices the page where she wrote about other works and thinks, why is this story there? It says that the story did not end with this, and the keyword return appeared in the description. The main character is shocked and wonders what this is, but at that very moment she finds herself in another place. Someone screams that this cannot be because he needs to meet the young lady and the woman who belonged to him has returned. Another guy asks if he uses a scent that is forbidden, and the main character wonders if it is really Heinrich and Theobald. Henry cries out that Jan I said so, and when he approached Her Highness, this sweet aroma simply drove him crazy. The main character is shocked and thinks what she will answer. She definitely looked at the diary in her room, but at that moment 2 guys turn to her. The lady thinks that this can't be because she has already passed the coming-of-age ceremony. She got out of the palace safely without attracting attention, so she doesn't understand why these 2 are looking at her with these menacing looks now. At that moment, the lady runs up to herself and sees how she is plunging into eternal sleep. Well, at that very moment, someone screams at the girl, and when the lady opens her eyes, she sees the Duke next to her. The man asks if Layla is okay, and the main character just gets out of bed. The guy says that he came to the sounds of screaming, and fortunately there are no signs of a break-in if she has nightmares. The main character at the same moment hugs the Duke, which makes him a little embarrassed. The lady says that everything is fine now and nothing happened, and the man only asks if she had a nightmare, to which the lady replies that she did. The girl understands that this sweet aroma is so calming, and this is the same aroma that enchanted her last night. Of course it comes from Lucas, but it's not just about this scent, and when this guy is around she feels calmer. At this time, the guy is wondering how long the lady will continue to cry since she has already cried her eyes out. He also says that he will bring a handkerchief and asks if she will stay for a bit, to which people answer that yes, and the Duke says that he will return soon. The girl wonders what kind of dream it was, and as soon as Lucas left, memories began to emerge. There were Henry Theobald, and she cruelly plunged into eternal sleep. The lady had a feeling that this would really happen. When the Duke returns, he asks if the lady has calmed down and also asks her to bend over. He says that if it's hot, then let her tell her at the same moment. The girl says that it's hot, but understands that the guy does it skillfully. She also can't imagine him crying and asks if he also has nightmares. The guy replies that of course, and she can't even imagine such nightmares. When the lady came to his room, he saw a terrible dream after which the guy touches her cheek. But at the same moment, the main character moves away a little, which surprises him. The Duke wonders whether she is afraid of him or not. The main character wonders if he has problems with sleep because of nightmares, and the coming-of-age ceremony itself makes him feel bad all the time. The man wonders if it is so noticeable, but he didn't want to show it. Layla asks, "How can you hide your illness?" He should have said so that they would take care of him. The lady also asks if the reasons are known and whether he is worried or afraid of something, to which the man replies that nothing like that and that it is a symptom that disappears over time. That time he survived thanks to the lady, after which he even thanks her. The main character wonders why her heart is beating so hard, because these are just words of gratitude. The man is interested in what happened and why she blushed so much. He puts his hand to the lady's forehead and asks if anything hurts because it seems like her temperature has risen. The main character at that very moment screams that she will definitely get a good night's sleep, after which everything will pass. But when they lie down on the bed, the lady again smells this aroma and understands that this is all the consequences of nightmares. Because of the nightmares, her heartbeat quickens and she doesn't worry because it's just a one-year contract and she's just afraid of falling into eternal sleep. But at that very moment, the Duke begins to laugh. He realizes that he was having a nightmare and that the pattern inevitably repeats itself over and over again. He has been dreaming about it for more than 5 years, but he can't get used to it, and then he heard a scream. Forgetting everything, he ran out barefoot and forgot even about his nightmares. For him, there is nothing more terrible than that something might happen to her. When the guy saw the lady's expression and that look, he understood that this curse could only be overcome by finding true love. It seems that now he knows what it all means and asks the lady not to leave and also to stay with him. The next morning, the main character wakes up and realizes that this is all completely pointless. The girl also notices a note next to her in which the guy wrote that he woke up first because of urgent matters and told the maid that the lady needed to sleep longer. The main character thinks that he himself should sleep longer, and she did not answer his question from yesterday. Her heart said yes, but the lady again remembered her nightmare in which Henry spoke of an intoxicating aroma, and the lady thinks that perhaps his scent has clouded her mind. The girl doubted and decided not to rush with the answer. Well, when the girl hears someone knocking, she asks who it is. Jessie answers that she is apologizing for disturbing, but says that she has urgent news and then asks if she can come in. The main character turns around and wonders where her cosmetic bag is. She also asks the girl to wait and asks if she can tell from there, to which the maid agrees. After which he reports that they say Mrs. Anna Hugh Montefeltro will arrive by noon. A little while later, Michael is already heading towards his mother and says that he needs to say something. A little while ago, the woman realized that this castle was strange, and the Duke and Michael also became strange. She continues to write letters, and at the end she always writes that she loves him, and also doesn't save money at all. After all, she buys the child everything he likes and what they would do in her place. But the woman thinks why he doesn't love her and why everything is as if she is at fault. In the morning, Anna understands that she cannot stay there because she is simply going crazy, and it doesn't matter whether it's the Duke or her son who doesn't even love her. Well, she doesn't need anyone, so let these freaks live happily with each other. She doesn't need anyone, so she needs to prepare for her return. But when the boy turned to his mother and said that he needed to say something, the woman asked if the butler could step away for a while, to which he replied that of course he could, but asked her to understand that he could not leave them for long. The woman said that apparently her son didn't just come to say goodbye, and the boy replied that he did. After all, he asked her never to return there again when she left. The main character was around the corner at that time. She understood that Michael went to meet the lady alone, and how could that be? She would like to stand next to him and at least hold the guy's hand. Well, the main character understands that he didn't invite her, and she will go out if she thinks it's necessary. At this time, Anna wonders if the guy really hates his mother so much that he doesn't want to see her anymore. The boy replies that he hates her and has never gone against her before because he felt guilty. He will never be the son she wanted, and he is used to being hated, but now he sees the other side. He finds it hard to endure ridicule and to face other people's views. He was afraid of people and hated himself, so he could only endure. But he still didn't say anything to her because he was afraid and knew that his mother would say that since he wasn't handsome enough, he should just endure. But now he is not afraid because now he is loved and she only hated him. The boy says that she can't ignore anyone in this castle, and the main character understands that now he can speak so calmly, and apparently he thought about his speech for a long time. Well, the girl is also worried about how the lady will react because she doesn't understand anything, and the woman is silent and her face is not visible. Layla thinks that it is so strange because her hands even rise from excitement when she thinks about it. The lady understands that she will not allow the child to be traumatized anymore, and the woman says that she still thinks that hating ugly people is natural because people avoid unpleasant things. It's unpleasant to look at the ugliness, and the main character thinks what she is saying to the child now. Well, the woman adds that she swears that she never hated him. No matter how she thinks, she still cannot understand what her fault is, and she just loves him, and also worries and wants the best. Anna also says that everything is clear because he was convinced that she hates him. The woman understands that from the very birth she was afraid for the boy and for the looks he would face, and also for the wounds that he will receive for her future where she suffers looking at such a child. What can you do if he looks like his ugly father, and all he got from his mother is his eyes? I feel sorry for Anna too because she lives with another man, and even if she just sends money and servants, no one will scold a beautiful man. But then the woman remembers how the lady asked if she was just watching from the side. Now Anna claims that when she said she loved the boy, she simply ran away and didn't even see him. After which she apologizes to him and also wishes for Michael to live happily. The lady left calmly and did not touch the boy anymore. This was the last conversation between them. Well, she said a few words to the lady before leaving. The woman claimed that there was something that only she could know, after which she thanked her. The main character thinks that it is so unpleasant to thank this talent, but at the same moment someone else turns to Layla, asks if she heard everything. And also, did he do a great job on her? The ladies wonder if he knows everything about the guy, and he replies that yes, he smelled her scent. Layla felt bad at night because of a nightmare, and her uncle said that he would stay with her but was late because of a conversation with her mother. The girl replies that everything is fine because he came and she had a good sleep. The young man says that after his mother's arrival, his uncle fell ill, and she also had nightmares, and he was so scared. Therefore now he will protect the lady and asks her to stay healthy and also to be close for a long, long time. The main character smiles at this time but still understands that she will have to leave. A little while later, the Duke looks at the marriage contract and wonders how to get rid of this useless piece of paper. The boy realizes that his name is Michael and he is the son of a duke. The lady he meets is very strange and seems a little stupid, but she is a very good person. The girl absolutely selflessly taught him how to take care of his skin, and the skincare procedure before going to bed can be considered complete. Now that he has smeared himself with cream, all he can do is wait until his aunt washes up and comes out, but the young man wonders why she is taking so long. The boy wonders if it's okay for him to sleep in the same room with his aunt since he's already 9 years old. But then the young man realizes that there is a reason for this, and it seems that Layla is having nightmares because her uncle asked her to do something. The young man realizes that he is glad that his mother left without saying a word, but then he looks at the cosmetic bag, and he says that this is the girl's bag with strange things. The young man also understands that it is indecent to secretly look at her things. And then you need to ask her to show him everything, or maybe you should just take a quick look. Well, when the guy opens one of the nightstands, who understands that this is Montefeltra's contract, the young man asks what business he might have Layla and Montelfert, for which a contract is required, but when he reads this contract he asks, is it really so? Layla is going to leave after the official marriage. At the same moment, the guy hears the main character coming out of the bathroom and asks how long Michael waited for her. The boy replies that no, and he applied the cream carefully. The girl says that it's great because now his skin is like a baby's, but the boy replies that if he didn't answer, he's not a child and he's already 9 years old. The main character says that this means that he has very good skin, and although he is no longer a child, he still needs to grow up, after which the lady even asks if they will go to bed, to which the boy replies that yes, he will hug her, and she will not have nightmares. The next morning, Jessie goes to her mistress's room, and when she arrives, she says that she brought tea that the mistress usually drinks in the morning. When she turns to the lady, she asks if she is still sleeping. The main character then approaches the door and apologizes, but wonders if she kept the maid waiting. Jessie notices the color of the lady's face and wonders if something happened last night. Layla replies that no, and that they just got into a conversation with Michael. She also tells the girl to give her tea because she will drink it slowly. The girl asks if the maid could tell the butler to cancel Michael's morning lesson because he is still sleeping. Jessie agrees, but asks if the lady would mind if she re-prepared the tea for her so she could relieve her fatigue. Layla replies that if she did so, she would be extremely grateful. The main character realizes that if you believe Jessie, she tried hard, and while Jessie hasn't returned, she can sleep some more. Layla realizes that she and Michael fell asleep right after she finished washing herself. But before going to bed, he decided to brag a little and asked the girl if she knew that there were so many amazing things in his house. It even has an alchemist's laboratory, and he will definitely show it to the girl when he grows up. The main character claimed that this was the first time she had heard that such a place existed somewhere. To which the boy replied that yes, there were still plenty of amazing magical instruments there, and she had never been to the festivals that were held in the north. If she's a little late, the festival will start, and the hydrangea will dawn, then everything will turn blue and the idea will definitely be liked. Layla asked if it was really like that, and it seemed like it would be very beautiful. If there were a lot of flowers, they would definitely go together to admire them. The boy replied that yes, and their family's main business was mining, but she had never been to the mines. They also go there, and there is a lake nearby so you can ride a boat, and it is done with the help of a magic stone. He is still small to row, but as soon as he becomes taller than her, he will ride the girl. Layla thinks what curious and interesting stories he tells. She would really like to go with him if she had a chance. It's very interesting, but she wants to sleep so much that it seems like she's about to fall into eternal sleep. Now the girl thinks that it was a bit long, and she put on makeup when Jess came, so now there is no point in sleeping. The lady understands not to say that she did not think about interrupting him and putting him to bed, but the day before he had a very busy day, and she knows that Michael told her all this not to brag, after which the lady thinks that he should sleep a little more. A little while later, the young man stands in front of the Duke, and the man says that it is very strange to see him without Layla. His interlocutor replies that it does not matter, and he needs to talk to Lucas. Seriously, he then tells Owen that he wants to talk to his nephew a little, so let the man sort out what they brought, to which he agrees. A short time later, the two are sitting opposite each other, and the young man hands the man a contract. The Duke asks why he has this contract, and the young man immediately screams, "How can his uncle do this to Layla?" The man asks what he is talking about. The young man screams, "Why is he talking?" and let him not push away, because how could he bind Layla with this vile contract? When the Duke is about to say something, the young man cries out once again that it is enough and he will not listen to whatever he says. He also asks what it means to remain a married couple for only a year and send her to another country, because if he is going to do this, then he should dissolve the marriage. As soon as he turns 11, he will definitely make Layla happy. Lucas looks at his nephew in surprise and remains silent, after which he starts laughing. The boy asks what happened and whether this man is really his uncle because he laughs so much. Well, at that very moment, the young man gets angry and wonders how he can laugh at all. Michael asks if he is laughing at him because he is still young, and his interlocutor claims that he cannot say that this is not the case. Whatever it was, the nephew did the right thing by bringing the contract because he already regretted it, and the guy helped him a lot. After which he offers Michael to form an alliance. The young man asks what he is talking about, and the man replies that this is an alliance that will allow them to avoid Layla's departure. The boy calms down after this and asks if he is using some kind of dirty trick. Been acting like a completely different person lately. Then Michael says okay and asks what he should do. Lucas replies that it's nice to deal with him. There is no need to do anything special, and first let him give him this contract and also keep it a secret from his aunt. He asks if the boy can handle it, to which he replies that of course he can, but wonders what his uncle will do. The man replies that it is not so important, and the young man asks what he is talking about, to which he replies that the child should not know about it. Michael then says that if he tries to do something suspicious, he will not leave him alone and wonders if the guy really decided to threaten him. The Duke wonders what kind of person he could consider him to be because he would never do such a thing. And it's not just him who wants to be nice to his aunt. The young man claims that the uncle he knows never cared who he liked and who he loved. Lately, he really has seemed like a different person. The Duke replies that he really has. And it's all because of his Aunt Layla's strength. The man remembers the girl's warm smile. And he says that it's all because her presence makes him want to be sincere. He finally feels free, like he can be his true self. The young man claims that the Duke was a gloomy loner, but now everything seems to have changed. Then the Duke says that he understood everything and suggests that the guy leave because he is also petty. And it seems he has also changed a lot because he could hear the guys well before, but he still continued to shout. The man strokes his nephew's head and tells his heir to go to class. The Duke also asks what to do with the hair now and whether this is how the young master should look. Well, the young man just sticks his tongue out at him, after which he leaves. The boy understands that, frankly speaking, he already loved his gloomy uncle very much. But with Layla's arrival, he began to like him even more. A few days later, the main character realizes that today she is going to the Northern Festival to which Lucas invited her. A few days earlier, a lady had asked if she needed to go to the festival, and the man had claimed that he had returned from a meeting and that it looked like it was opening early today. The Duke also told the lady that if she did not object, they could explore the commoners' quarter together. Layla understands that, like other regions, the North is divided into a commoners' quarter and an aristocrats' quarter. She didn't send a prohibition to move between the blocks, but now the lady says that she would be very glad but is wondering if she can go. She would not like to attract unnecessary attention, to which the man replies that they can go there hiding their identities, and then the girl says that everything is fine. If his lordship is satisfied with everything, then fine. Well, and when the girl asks if Michael will go with them, the man answers no. And they will go, only the two of them. But the girl says that he would really like to go with them. The Duke claims that he said he wanted to focus on the report because he had been skipping classes a lot lately, and the latter asks him if he would tell her the same thing, to go somewhere with her alone, and then he hands over some kind of box and also offers the lady to take the gift. The main character is a little surprised and asks if it is really for her. The Duke replies that it is clear that the gift is for her and asks why she is asking. The girl thinks how awkward it is and how she could say such a thing. Layla thanks the Duke but asks if she can open it right now. The man replies that he now belongs to her, so the lady can do as she wishes. When the main character opens the box, she sees that it is a dress, and the man says that yes, let her wear it when they go to the festival. They will not have an escort, so ladies should not wear so much makeup. The main character claims that it sounds very funny, but asks what if she gets caught because he is a duke, and suddenly there is an assassin. The man replies that in any case, no one knows what she looks like. And he doesn't think the lady ever appears without makeup. The makeup she did the other day looked pretty sad. So wouldn't it be great to spend a day without thinking about anything? Layla understands that although this guy is very attractive, she doesn't know what kind of person he is. However, he still cares about her, and the lady replies that it is good because she will be looking forward to it. In her place, anyone would have accepted Lucas's offer, and if he pays her so much attention, it means he thinks about her. Well, it could be a little dangerous for her. The girl understands that perhaps he chose this hat so that she could hide her face. The dress is of a calm cut and also sewn with taste, so the girl wondered how he knew what she liked. Layla wonders if she should ask her husband about this. Well, then the ladies realize that now is not the time to think about it, because it's just a fictitious marriage and she has no place where she could settle down to live the life she always dreamed of, creating cosmetics. And getting rich thanks to your abilities will be truly happiness, because what is the point of being sincere if you have to leave in a year? Layla thinks that this is very difficult, but she will simply gratefully enjoy life to the fullest. A little while later, the Duke realizes that this will happen today. On this walk, he will offer her to break the contract. The initial contract period is 1 year before the marriage is legally binding, and the royal palace has said that the deadlines can be ignored. In that case, he will have to let her go in a few months, but this is terribly annoying. Montefeltro family's contract is sealed with magic, so it won't be easy to break it and keep Layla, but now with Michael's help, he can destroy that contract if only Layla agrees. If you think about it, it turned out to be quite difficult to separate them, and the young man screamed in shock that he was also waiting for the festival and let him just try to fail, otherwise he would also leave home. The Duke understands that this guy and he can no longer imagine their lives without her. He took care of a dress that would make your eyes shine and found a place where you could have fun. But he still doesn't know what's in her heart, and it would be great if their thoughts coincided. Charlotte is sitting with the prince at this time, and one of the ladies turns to him and asks if the gentleman knows what perfume she used today. Green grapes is in fashion lately, and if the gentleman doesn't mind, but at that moment Charlotte interrupts the girl and says that Mr. Theobald doesn't really like the smell of fruit. Lady Arius turns to Charlotte a little angrily, but then asks His Highness how he likes the smell of flowers. They were developed by a royal perfumer, and this scent is obtained from lilac flowers. The girl asks me if he has been having strange dreams lately because there is a rumor that the scent of radiance promotes deep sleep. The man realizes that for the last few days a woman has been appearing in his dreams. Looking back at the call, he sees a nymph with fluttering light purple hair and the scent of lilac emanating from them. He wants to answer this call and hug her, but it is impossible because she does not want it. The girl is ready to take any man by the hand but not him because he trampled her, tied her up, and imprisoned her. He even tried to put her into eternal sleep, but as soon as he let go of her hand, Henry called out to her. The man cried out to Milady, hadn't she used the forbidden incense of delusion, and every time he approached the crown prince he drove him crazy with his sweet aroma. The prince understands that it is unlikely that she used low-grade incense, a delusion, but he is intoxicated by the aroma that emanates from her. When the lady asks His Highness again if he liked the perfume, someone else approaches them and asks the crown prince if there will be hunting competitions in the fall. The venue was a forest belonging to the imperial family, and the guy asked if he should send an invitation. The brunette replies that he didn't even think about changing anything and that the venue and the invitation have remained the same for quite a long time. Charlotte says that the imperial family's forests provide ample space for hunting and tournaments, but what about making changes to the guest list? The man asks what she is proposing. After which the lady says that maybe it's worth inviting the ugly family. After all, isn't a royal invitation enough for the Montefeltro family? At this time, the man realizes that if you think about it, the girl from this family seems somewhat similar to the nymph from his dream. Well, he also thinks what kind of nonsense is this because she is so ugly that he does not even understand how she can live. It must be just a coincidence because they just have similar hair and eye color. Lady Arius turns to Charlotte and asks if she thinks it is acceptable that His Highness should be allowed to see them even during a merry hunting contest. The man replies that it should be merry, so they should invite the duchy as well. His interlocutor turns to the gentleman with some surprise, but he claims that he is bored with everything, and as the lady told him he should bring something new to their entertainment, he doesn't like the haughty look this girl gives him, and he thinks how they will play with them. The main character is in the city at this time and says that it is so beautiful. The lady asks if there is a similar flowering tree in the Duke's greenhouse. The man replies that the tree in his greenhouse has not yet blossomed and it is called a jacaranda. It is a flowering tree and is the personification of summer in the north. He likes jacaranda more than hydrangea. He heard that in the language of flowers it means bright happiness, after which the guy puts a few flowers behind the fly's ear, and she says that they suit her very well. The main character is only embarrassed by this and realizes that if you look up, it looks like the sky. Previously, she would shudder simply from the fact that someone might consider her beautiful, and the girl wonders why this doesn't happen now. At this time, the Duke suggests that she go somewhere else, and a little while later the lady says how many people there are. The man claims that there are many more people living there than in the areas where the aristocrats live and asks if she is uncomfortable. Layla replies that she likes the atmosphere so much and asks if every privilege he came there alone. The Duke replies that after receiving the title, he was busy so he rarely went there. However, when he was younger, he liked it there more than at home. Layla asks if he has friends, and the man replies that unfortunately he was not a very friendly child. The lady says with a smile on her face that judging by what he has done for her lately, he was very popular. At the same moment, Layla also hears one of the vendors say that they have delicious shashlik and offer a snack. She also says that this shashlik is almost free, and they also have a signature hot sauce. When the main character looks at this shashlik, she understands that it looks beautiful and has such a pleasant aroma. The Duke turns to the lady a little surprised and asks what she is looking at so intently. But the lady just turns away, after which the man smiles and approaches the bench and asks to give him one of each type of skewer. The main character wants to object, but at that very moment her stomach starts to rumble, and the man claims that she doesn't even have to talk about it. The shop owner says that it's true because they will serve her at the highest level. A little while later, the main character is already holding kebabs in her hands but says that she won't eat that much. His interlocutor says that judging by the growling of the lady's stomach, she could easily eat a dozen of them, and the girl replies that she probably could. The Duke at this time finishes his shashlik, and when he looks at the lady, he only approaches and bites her food. Layla immediately screams that he scared her, and the man tells her to hold the shashlik a little. The lady claims that if he wants to eat them, he could have said so directly, after which she even asks if his lordship can hear her. But after this, the man only smiles and says that okay, then let the lady just feed him. The girl asks why she should feed him, and the man asks in response if that's not what spouses do. Layla wants to talk about their contract, but the Duke interrupts her and claims that he bought the shashlik with his own money. A little while later, the two are sitting on a bench, and the guy asks if it was fun today. The main character replies that it was very much so. The man also said that his heart was lifted because he would have been uncomfortable if it turned out that he was the only one having fun. Layla replies that she has nothing to regret because he spent her money and even acted as a guide. And the guy says that at the next festival she will repay him. The Duke also claims that he wanted to keep the lady because he thought a lot about what to say. But now he seems at a loss for words and doesn't know what to say, as if he had forgotten about everything when he saw her sincerity. The Duke also says that he feels so excited as if he were a child again, and if she likes him, then can't she love him just as sincerely? But the main character claims that she has a reason why she must leave the capital and she cannot say why. The Duke will definitely get tired of this because if the person he loves keeps a lot of secrets sooner or later, he will become disappointed and suspicious. The lady also wonders if he will be okay if she can't tell him everything about herself, and even if she can't be completely honest. The man claims that he must confess, which is a bit disappointing. But that is not a sufficient reason for him to fall out of love with her. At that time, people thought that as long as she was with him, everything would definitely be fine. Whatever the future holds for them, Michael meanwhile looks at the acceptance notice in shock. The young man understands that he has completely forgotten about this and is wondering what he should do now since he must leave the castle next week. Thus, even if the uncle manages to hold Layla back, the girl will only ask the boy if he really asked her to stay close. But he leaves himself. The lady will also say that it hurts her because she can no longer live with liars and will leave. The young man immediately cries out that this should not happen and understands that he needs to think because he can and will succeed in keeping Layla. After which he understands everything that he needs to prepare this thing. The next morning, the main character in shock asks if they really want to say that Michael also knows about the marriage contract. The girl says that they should have discussed it with her, and did they really make a promise to each other? But if she had said something, they wouldn't have done it. The two of them teamed up and deceived her, so they acted very rudely. The Duke at this time says that all's well that ends well, and in the end their desires coincided, but the girl screams how shameless he is. Michael says that he was just doing what his uncle told him to do, but the man says that there is no point in blaming him because it was the guy who found him and stole him. The main character at that very moment screams out, "Did he really steal the contract? And that can't be right." The young man at that very moment turns to his uncle and says that it's so petty of him. Layla screams that the Duke is the worst because he decided to push everything onto the child, and maybe he is worried that he will be scolded, despite the fact that he is already an adult. Well, the man claims that thanks to this, they can be together without worrying about the contract at all, after which he asks to talk on the frequency, and also asks if the lady is happy. The main character hits him at the same moment and screams for him to take the lucky blow with his head. She also wonders if the man thinks that everything can be solved by him putting his face forward, and how he sees people in general. The girl also turns to Michael and asks if he will never steal again, to which the young man replies that he will not, and asks him to forgive him because he will never do that again. Then the main character wonders how the guy stole it and whether he really took it while she was washing her face. The lady also doesn't think he had enough time to find it, to which the boy replies that he'll show it now, after which the young man using magic extends the piece of paper to the lady, and the main character sees how the letters on it blur. The young man claims that if he does this, he won't have to search the entire room, and the main character immediately screams, "Is he really a magician?" Layla says that the contract moves by itself, and even the letters flew. The young man apologizes for hiding this athlete, and the magic of the royal family is also an absolute secret, so even the Imperial family does not know about his abilities. Layla also has to keep this secret, and the girl replies that of course she will keep it, but wonders why the guy's abilities need to be kept secret. The Duke immediately claims that he will tell her everything the young man understands that he is saved. The man claims that the lady should know that he was the founder of the royal family, the wolf Lupus. But the young man tells his uncle that he has red fluid coming out of his nose. The Duke continues his story and claims that while Predio received the title of Duke as a worthy subject of the empire, Montefeltro came from the imperial family of Basium, so the Duke's family also inherited the blood of the imperial family, and the main character says that it is clear and then offers to wipe his nose. The guy claims that perhaps because of the red liquid of Lupus, every member of the imperial family is born with special abilities. His older brother also had a magical gift like Michael, and they do not know what abilities the crown prince may have, so they also do not tell them about their intelligence these days. Since they belong to a family with the right to claim the throne, the royal family considers them dangerous. And although it is unlikely that the imperial family will decide on open confrontation, well, there's nothing wrong with having a couple of trump cards, and the main character wonders if this means that he can use magic too. The man replies that no, and he can't, but when he's about to add something, the lady asks what he can do, and the same man throws her into the air and then grabs her back in his hands. The Duke claims that with just a deft movement of his hand, he can do this, and this is partly because dear wife light as a feather. The man asks if it's amazing and wonders what it's like to fly in the sky. The guy says that it's pretty reliable and asks if it's true, but the main character immediately screams, "What kind of nonsense is this?" Michael claims that sometimes it is difficult to believe that this is real. Well, then the girl asks if it is true that he can tell her all this, because they are not yet officially married, and besides, she has secrets that she cannot reveal. The lady claims that he cannot be sure of what she will do, but the Duke smiles and that the lady is talking absolute nonsense because now they will become a family for life. Michael at this time turns to his uncle and screams for him to stop, and if he wants to say something cool, then let him do it when he gets better. After some time, the Duke says that he knows that the lady is still afraid of something because she can't even talk about what scares her. Fear is eating her from the inside, and that's why the lady is silent. He doesn't ask her to tell him what scares her right now, she just wanted the lady to know that they have the power to protect her, so let her not be afraid anymore. Layla taught them to be happy, and that fact will never change. Taking advantage of the opportunity, he encouragingly asks if she will become part of their family. The main character at this time thinks about her parents and understands that in this world she has a real family, so it seems she can be happy again. The lady is surprised at the same moment and answers that she would be happy to. When the man looks at the lady, he asks what is going on and whether she is laughing or crying. The main character, with tears in her eyes, answers that when she thinks that from now on, they will be together. Well, she has such a strange feeling, and she is happy, but it is too unusual. The Duke at the same moment tells her to come up because he will hug her, and Michael also suggests the lady not to cry because he will hug her too. Layla claims that now there is no need to separate, and Michael at this time understands that it is necessary to say about it before it is too late. The Duke at this time suggests that instead of crying, they hug because they are a family, and the main character also turns to the boy and suggests hugging. Well, the young man at the same moment says that he is also very happy, but in fact yesterday he received a notification about enrollment, and next week he has to move into the dormitory and also will not return until the holidays. The main character at the same moment screams in shock, asking what he is talking about. The boy then apologizes and claims that it completely slipped his mind. The main character says that this is nonsense and doesn't want to enter the academy at 10 years old since he is only 9. The Duke says that this is early admission and suggests that the lady be careful with her knees. The main character wonders if it is possible to change this and, for example, take a year off to have some more fun with her, but the young man replies that he himself does not really know, and it is probably too late. The Duke claims that he let the guy go because his mentor advised him to, and then it was somehow forgotten. And everything could have been changed if he had sent the message a month ago. But the girl at the same moment thinks that this can't be. Michael apologizes and claims that he passed the exams before she arrived, while the main character claims that she still wanted to give so much. But even the three of them have never really gone anywhere. The Duke suggests that the lady not be upset since they are not parting forever, and in his thoughts he adds that it will be interesting and fun for them both so that they will have something to tell when they return. He also says that they can have a good time together, but at the same moment Michael says that his aunt should watch and not change her mind. The main character at the same moment hits the Duke and hugs Michael. The girl says that she will be so sad when he leaves. And besides, the boy is still at the age when he needs care, so will he be okay? The young man answers that yes, she will be fine, but even so, it seems he will miss her every day. He has prepared something for this case, and there is nothing special there. But the young man still hands over his gift and also tells her to always carry it with her, but he made it himself. The main character wonders if he was attacked and if he made this decoration himself. The Duke at this time enters the conversation and asserts that this is a magical communication tool. He confirms that this is true and suggests that the lady press the small button at the bottom. Layla wonders if by button he means this small detail, after which the girl presses it. At that moment, Michael appears on her hand and asks if it is amazing. Usually the connection only transmits voice, but he thought that the girl would want to see him, so he also created a video connection. Layla claims that it is really amazing. The young man adds that thanks to this they will be able to see each other every day while he is in the hostel. He also knew that the lady would like it, and the connection is turned off by pressing the button again, after which the girl does so, and also thanks the boy and says that she really likes it. The young man smiles at the same moment and then says that even if they are apart for a long time, they will still be a family. The main character, together with the Duke, smiles at the same moment and answers that of course, after which they hug the boy. The week flew by so that they did not have time to blink an eye. The girl said that she remembers the day when she saw hydrangeas in the rain in Korea, and Michael did magic to show her flowers in the rain. Layla understands that she almost forgot about the times when she was still Yoon Sol, and only memories of makeup remained. And what about her parents? But at that very moment the lady is hit by a splash of water. Michael is surprised by this and asks if everything is okay, and the lady replies that everything is okay because the makeup won't wash off from a couple of drops of water. The boy says that he doesn't mean the makeup, but since she is okay, then everything is fine. He also asks Layla if there is a reason why she hides her face, and if there is something he doesn't know. The girl replies that yes, she is interested in the young man, and will she give him for a minute the magical means of communication that he gave her last time. The main character answers that yes, and when the young man begins to use magic, the girl says that no matter how you look at it, his magical power is beautiful, and she wonders what the boy did. The young man claims that there is nothing like that, and he simply cast a spell that does not allow one to recognize his face, so if the lady doesn't want to be recognized, she can press the button twice. Layla wonders if he can just add new magic like that, and she also asks if the boy is a genius by any chance because he is so brilliant. That there is no need to go to the academy, but the young man replies that he must go because in order to inherit the duchy, one must at least have a diploma. At that moment, the butler turns to them and tells the young master that everything is ready for departure. The young man also asks if she will take him home, to which the girl replies that she will. After all, how can one not take him home after she received such a wonderful gift? Michael says that she should have said goodbye without a gift, to which the lady replies that this is true. The young man also says that the girl should not cry when he leaves, otherwise her face will swell, but the main character wonders who he takes her for because she is after all an adult. And let him watch this and not cry in the carriage. After which the young man heads to the academy, and the maid asks Milady if she will be given a handkerchief, to which the girl replies that yes. The lady understands that she could smile until he landed in Korea, and only because they would not be separated forever. They would be able to see each other thanks to the magic device, but as soon as he left, she could not hold back her tears. And so, drinking tea prepared by Jessie, she cried all day long that her makeup was erased, and in the evening the Duke said that he heard while he was busy. The lady cried all day. Because of this, her face is so sunken, and the man asks if she has even eaten. He also claims that everything will be fine with Michael, and the main character replies that she knows it too. But the girl asks what to do because she can't stop the smells and will cry, but only today. Katya says okay, after which she wishes her sweet dreams. However, when he wants to talk about what will happen tomorrow, he understands that there is no point in adding cause for concern to someone who is already crying. A little while later, the man hears some sounds similar to those at the market and asks if his wife really cried so much that she became hoarse. After all, the sound of her breathing is similar to the breathing of an animal sleeping in a cave. However, when a man opens his eyes, he sees a wolf in front of him, who tells his descendant to wake up. The Duke, in shock, asks what it is and where his wife is. The wolf replies that he is sure his wife is fast asleep next to him, and he himself just fell asleep, so where else could he be except in a dream? Then the young man asks why he came into his dream, and the wolf says that his name is Lupus. The guy got the long-awaited chance, so he personally came to support his descendant. Well, the young man asks what kind of chance this is, since there haven't been any special signs lately, and does he really want to give him a task? The wolf asks if this is true, and if this sign is not sleeping right now next to him. He also wonders about the god of what is called Lupus. The appearance of this lady was the most special sign, after which the guy asks if he is really talking about Layla. But he claims that this girl really didn't give him anything. The wolf replies that nothing like that happened and suggests that the descendant shouldn't worry, and also do what he does because they should be happy forever, just like he wants. The young man asks what long-awaited chance he was talking about then, and whether he was really waiting for him and his wife to become happy. Lupus replies that it is difficult to explain, because the point is that she chose him over the descendant of the imperial family of Ibrenius. Well, then the guy replies that the imperial family are also descendants of Lupus. The wolf replies that they are descendants of Lupus, but Lupus is not his race. Two Lupuses fell in love with the same girl, and she chose the black wolf over him. Well, he is a wolf, and cannot leave the human world without leaving the person his heart chose as a partner, so he fell asleep waiting for his chance, in the hope that his partner would return again. She suffered many hardships and fell into eternal sleep by mistake, but thanks to this they had a chance for happiness. Having gone through countless reincarnations, she came there from a distant world, so let him definitely stay close and make her happy. The descendant of the black wolf has already missed one of his chances, and because of this he lost his strength, and the guy got a chance for happiness. He also tells the descendant that he will teach him a spell that will not allow his companion to leave him, and also tells him to listen to him carefully because he must do what even the black wolf could not do. And he is also a proud descendant of the gray wolf, so let him fulfill his wish. But at that very moment, the Duke screams for him to wait, and when he opens his eyes, he gets up from the bed. The Duke also looks at the lady and thinks what happened to her because she fell into eternal sleep by mistake. Maybe the descendant of the black wolf is somehow connected with her fear of the crown prince, and he does not know where the lady was and what she experienced before coming to him. The man also understands that he cannot consider the lady's misfortune as his chance, and he will try to make sure that meeting him becomes a chance for her, and will also fulfill his wish for the sake of Layla herself. The next morning, the maid tells Milady that she has come in and brought herbs that help with pharmacies. Jessie also asks how the lady's eyes are. The girl replies that they are much better than when she first woke up, and also thanks her. Layla realizes that this morning Jessie saw her without makeup, and all because her eyes were so swollen that she couldn't even open them, let alone put on makeup. The girl told Jessie to come in herself and apologized, but wondered if she could come in and help, and also whether the person she would see when she came in was her mistress. Now the main character is wondering if Jessie was surprised when she saw her without makeup, But the maid replies that from the moment she first saw the mistress, she became more and more beautiful day by day, and she thinks that is why she was not particularly surprised. The main character then smiles and says that the girl is probably the only one in the entire country who so carefully chooses her words when talking to her. Jessie replies that this is not so because she is completely sincere and says this, and yet she was a little amazed at how good the lady's skin is. After all, she seems to shine, and the girl wonders why every day the lady makes so much effort to apply such a thick layer of makeup. The main character understands that this is because it shows her creative streak. She claims that because she wanted to meet someone who would sincerely care about her, and someone who would see her regardless of what her face looked like, she thought that those who would get close to her only because of her appearance would make her unhappy, and she also didn't want to live and be beautiful only in the eyes of others. So you can say that this is her rebellion. Whatever her appearance, she should live the way she wants and feel beautiful from it. The maid smiles in response and says that, in fact, there is no such person in the world as Milady Layla asks if she praises her or scolds her, to which the maid replies that of course she praises her. At the same moment, someone else knocks on the door and the main character asks, "Who is there?" to which the butler replies that it is him. And he asks for forgiveness for coming so early and for the lady having a guest. Layla wonders if he really came without notice. And no one contacted her about the visit. The butler replies that yes, and they were visited by the Duke's cousin on his mother's side, Hilda Hugh Estrada. She said that she came because she wanted to see the Duchess, and the girl understands that she should have understood it then, that when you become a family, it means you have to deal with other members of his family. The lady with brown hair says that the Duke deals with the lady's affairs from early in the morning and allows himself to sleep late, so they can't let Lucas start a family with such a terrible person. And since the lady's appearance was not successful, she should at least prove with her manners that she is a lady. But still there is nothing terrible in this because she will teach her the basic qualities of a lady. The Duke, at this time, is heading in a carriage. He understands that Michael went to school, and he, instead of staying with Layla, left her alone because he had to leave home due to the Council of Elders, being vassals and elders, and for a long time helped with the management of the affairs of the duchy, but the times when they were loyal vassals remained in the distant past. The current Council of Elders is nothing more than a pack of hyenas who only think about how to snatch a bigger piece of power. No matter how much they try to do something useful for the lands, they always criticize everything. And they pull the blanket over themselves if it can bring in at least a little money. These are the people who are sure that he owes all his success to them. The man understands that when he was little and inherited after his brother's eternal sleep, they were jumping for joy. How many years he couldn't do anything on his own. And naturally, it turned out to be not only official and business, but also personal life. One of the ladies asked if Luca had finished his lessons because if so, it was time for the young master's lessons. The guy realized that the thought alone gave him goosebumps, and when they found out about the marriage, they would be beside themselves. Especially this man, and so that Layla does not run into him with that, it is faster to deal with the Council of Elders. The guy understands that only one document is needed and he could put pressure on them or even disband, but he is so busy that there is no time for anything. At the same moment, someone tells the Duke that since we are talking about this, that he tried hard, and when they finish with this matter, there will be no need to go to the Council of Elders and fly to investigate their activities. After which the servant says that it looks like they are already there, and the master of the royal family is in the recently opened jewelry store. Although he was brought there was no need for him to come personally to greet. The man says that apparently they are trying to push him around, wasting time on such a trifle, after which he also asks what kind of situation this is about. His interlocutor asks for forgiveness and says that maybe there is some mistake in the schedule. But when he looks at the letter, he says that the time and place of the meeting indicated in the letter are accurate. The guy immediately smirks and claims that he will borrow a horse. When the servant cries out for His Excellency to wait, he only tells Owen to collect all the documents, evidence, and witnesses and come to the castle. Owen asks what he means and if everything is as he thinks. The guy replies that yes, and it seems that rumors have already reached them. The man also asks how they dared to drag him out of the house to touch her, then he even heads off on a horse. And Owen tells the servant to hurry up and find the horse. The guy understands that he did not foresee such a trick, and it is his mistake. Surely they plan to put pressure on the mistress while she is alone using persuasion or threats, after which he hopes that everything will be fine with the mistress. The main character at this time says that it is nice to meet you and introduces herself to the lady Layla, understands that it is rare to find a person there who will not grimace when they see her makeup. Layla also tells the lady to sit down, and she thanks her. The main character understands that her posture and manners are a textbook example of aristocratic behavior, and the girl gives the impression of a good person. Hilda apologizes for the sudden visit, but since they live in the north, they only just now learned about the rumors about the wedding. The main character says that it is quite possible because the north is so vast, and thinks that she would at least like to become friends with this girl. Her interlocutor at this time says that although it is late she will tell Miss Esty about this. They have a lot to talk about, and Lady asks if Liana is busy, to which the main character replies that everything is fine, although after her nephew's departure to the academy, she is a little upset. Layla understands that she is all in anticipation of a pleasant and warm conversation and wonders if they can really become friends, but a little while later the main character is already pessimistic about the idea of making friends with her. While the girl is chatting restlessly, the main character only looks at her. Hilda asks if Miss Este is listening to her, to which the main character nods, and the girl says that thank God, because she already thought that the lady was tired of her advice and was thinking about something else. After which the lady claims that she believes that in order to restore relations, it is extremely important for a young lady like her to listen carefully to the interlocutor. Although her eyes sparkle with the refined elegance of a cinema aristocrat, they are so difficult to see because of her specific appearance, so she should put in a little more effort, and a fold formed on the hem of her skirt again, because only 4 minutes and 28 seconds had passed since she told her about manners. The main character thinks, how can you be friends with someone who can't shut her mouth, but she'd rather live her whole life alone. The lady understands that this girl is a relative of the Duke, and she listened to somehow get along, but she has a feeling that these 30 minutes have already dragged on for 30 years. 30 minutes before this, Hilda said that they have so many topics for conversation, and these words became the starting point of the disaster. The girl at this time tells the young lady that if the woman who is present there as a duchess is not busy with anything, then who in the castle will do their job? If she talks about it so freely, then their Luke and the entire duchy will be made a laughingstock, so it seems to her that she still lacks the training to become a duchess. She may seem overly meddling, but her father is a member of the Council of Elders who supports their duchy. Besides, she can't help but worry about the future of their beau, since the people haven't properly introduced themselves to the Council of Elders, and she has a feeling that her girl is not interested in managing the duchy at all. Well, she likes her, so she came to help the lady become better. The main character understands that at least she received a salary for criticism from her superiors, but if she gets married, she will have to endure the same from other relatives. If she continues to tolerate this, she has a feeling that she will miss something important, and the main heroine turns to Miss Estard and asks to listen to her opinion even if she has shortcomings. It is very rude to try to teach her like a child when she did not ask for it. The girl asks what she is talking about because she is only conveying the will of her father, who is a member of the Council of Elders. Layla replies that she is a partner of the Duke, not the entire Council of Elders, and before she becomes an ideal lady, she should grow up and learn about personal boundaries, although there was no malicious intent in her words, so she listened attentively to everything. But since the lady made many very personal comments to a person she was seeing for the first time, she was worried about how she behaved with others.